Chapter 302. Lu Yiping's voice reverberated between heaven and earth, but everyone could only hear his voice and not see his face. Only Lu Shangyi, who was familiar with Lu Yiping's voice, shuddered involuntarily. Everyone was surprised to see the sudden appearance of the golden palm. "Who are you?" Su Wenguo bellowed in anger. He wanted to struggle, but he found that his strength was completely restrained, unable to move. At this time, the golden palm clenched, and Su Wenguo's body quivered. Wisps of faint purple devil qi rushed out from the depths of his body. It was the purple extreme devil qi. Lu Yiping, who was sitting cross-legged under the creation tree, flickered his eyes, and a void enveloped Su Wenguo. In the blink of an eye, Su Wenguo's memories were read by Lu Yiping. Lu Yiping's golden palm clenched, and Su Wenguo's body exploded, turning into a cloud of blood mist. Su Wenguo was dumbfounded. Various forces experts were dumbfounded. Moments ago, Che Peng had crushed Su Tong, Pang Bo, and Zhu Weijin's godheads and veins, and this Che family's mysterious expert was even more ruthless, directly crushing Su Wenguo. Su Qing watched his son Su Wenguo explode, and the cloud of blood mist drifting in the air. Agony filled his heart, and he roared, "No!" He soared to the sky and punched at the golden palm with both fists, "Return my son's life." Su Qing crazily circulated the power of the 10 great totems. The 10 great totems shone brightly, and a mysterious light shone from Su Qing's body. Such powerful power! What kind of power is this? Some ancestors exclaimed in shock. Su Qing's current aura was definitely stronger than when he was resisting Che Peng's attack. With his beloved son killed, Su Qing threw caution to the wind and used an ancient secret art. "Die for me!" Su Qing roared. 2 giant fist imprints pierced through the air. Watching Su Qing using an ancient secret art, Lu Yiping controlled the golden palm, and with a flick of his middle finger, a dazzling finger force slammed into Su Qing's body. Su Qing, who was attacking madly, was sent flying back, passing through the ruins of the Castellan Manor, smashing through layers of buildings before crashing into Ziwei City's city walls. Ziwei City's indestructible walls shook violently, as if they were on the verge of collapse. Everyone was shocked. Although Su Qing had just condensed the 10 great totems, the totems he had condensed were more than 100 miles long. Coupled with the secret technique he had just used, his combat strength was definitely comparable to a mid-stage or even late-stage expert of the 10 great totems. However, he was still sent flying by the golden palm controlled by the other party. Could it be that Che Fu still had an 11 totem expert? There was even a master with 12 totems. After Lu Yiping controlled the golden palm to send Su Qing flying, he withdrew the golden palm. Under everyone's gaze, the golden palm dissipated into the air. Everyone looked at the disappearing golden palm and Che Peng, who had returned to the Che manor. They were unable to calm down for a long time. Lu Shangyi looked in the direction of the Che mansion with complicated feelings. He hurriedly used a communication talisman to report to the Scarlet Flame Chamber of Commerce's Wan Litong. The experts of the other super sects and first-rate clans also reported to their superiors. The Black-White Deity Palace was one of the 100 sects, and the Su family was one of the 100 sects. The Black-White Deity Palace's palace master's 4 direct disciples were all crippled. As a core disciple of the Su family, Ziwei City's city lord Su Qing was severely injured, and his son Su Wenguo was killed on the spot. Regardless of which one it was enough to shake the boundless world. Soon, the Aeon Divine Manor also learned about the incident in Ziwei City. That girl Su Tong's divine veins and godhead were crippled. The young lord of the Aeon Divine Manor, Sikongifei, looked at Senior Commander Tao Jiong with disbelief. Yes, other than Su Tong, her junior brother Pang Bo, Zhu Weijin, and junior sister Su Shaoling were also killed. Tao Jiong's expression was complicated as he went on. As for Su Qing's son, Su Wenguo, he was crushed to death on the spot. Sikongifei was stunned for a long time, then he asked solemnly, "Do you know the name of the Che family's 12 totem expert?" "I don't know, I only know that he's an elder of the Che family who had left for many years. He only returned a few days ago. Tao Jiong said, oh right, the fist he used was the Big Dipper Divine Palace's secret art, the Big Dipper Star Fist. Big Dipper Star Fist. Si Kongifei said, immediately find out that person's identity. Tao Jiong complied. Tens of thousands of li away from the Aeon Divine Manor, on top of a huge mountain range, there were numerous palaces. These palaces were arranged in picturesque disorder, and they were divided into two colors, darkness and light. This was the Black-White Divine Palace. At this time, in the main hall of the Black-White Divine Palace sat a group of ancestors and Palace Master Fan Chi. The atmosphere in the main hall was oppressive. Ancestor Qi Cheng of the Black-White Divine Palace suddenly slammed his palm on the table beside him. A puny 12-totem ancient god dares to treat our Black-White Divine Palace's core disciples in such a manner? What's the point of discussing? Send people over and crush that 12-totem ancient god to death. Then annihilate the entire Che family. Even the Che family's servants, and maids must be killed. Among the 6 Black-White Divine Palace disciples whose divine veins and godheads were destroyed by Che Peng, one of them was Qi Cheng's personal disciple. Qi Cheng's strength wasn't weak, and he was a peak late 11 totem expert. However, he had been stuck at the peak late 11 totem realm for many years, unable to condense 12 totems. Brother Qi Cheng is right. Even that last Su Tong's divine veins and godhead were destroyed by the other party. After trampling on our Black-White Divine Palace's face, we still want to discuss. Another ancestor, Wang Teng, said angrily, now, our Black-White Divine Palace has become the Eternal Star Field's laughingstock. I'll go over and crush the other party to death. If he dares to escape, and the Che family's disciples won't be able to escape, we'll extract their souls, skin them alive, and mince their bones. Wang Teng was in existence surpassing the ancient god realm, and he had successfully integrated with a heaven's will. Once an ancient god with 10 totems and above successfully integrated with a heaven's will, they were called god kings. Wang Teng had 11 totems, and he had integrated with a heaven's will. The Black-White Divine Palace's Palace Master Fan Chi said solemnly, the 2 ancestors are right. I second the proposal. Send experts to Ziwei City, and annihilate the Che family with lightning speed. Moreover, order the experts around Ziwei City to set up a grand array to seal the space around Ziwei City. We must not let the Che family's 12 totem ancient gods escape. Sitting in the center of the hall was the Black-White Divine Palace's strongest ancestor, Zhuo Zhihui. Zhuo Zhihui looked at everyone and said solemnly, I've already contacted the Su family. Each of them will send 100 people to Ziwei City. Che Manor. After Che Suping, Che Xiaoning, and the other 2 were brought back by Che Peng, Lu Yiping treated them. Their divine veins and godheads were completely restored, and Lu Yiping used the divine tree of life to increase their vitality and blood essence. After treating the 4, Lu Yiping sat cross-legged under the divine tree of life, thinking about the clues he had obtained from Su Wenguo's memories regarding the purple extreme demon race. Although Su Wenguo didn't know the location of the purple extreme demon race's headquarters in the Eternal Star Field, the purple extreme demon race's expert who taught him the purple extreme demon race's cultivation techniques should know. And that purple extreme demon race's expert was hiding in the Black-White Divine Palace. Chapter 303. Just as Lu Yiping was thinking about visiting the Black-White Deity Palace, Che Peng came in and reported, Your Excellency, the Black-White Deity Palace and the Su have joined forces. 100 ancestors from each sect have arrived at Ziwei City. Oh, 100 ancestors from each sect. Lu Yiping's expression was indifferent. Yes, 20 of the 11 totem ancestors from the Black-White Deity Palace are here. 6 godly monarchs with heaven's will are here. Che Peng said respectfully. Although it was difficult to break through to the 11th totem level, the Black-White Deity Palace was an ancient superpower in the Ionic starfield. On average, they could cultivate one every 10,000 years. Thus, 20 of the 11 totem ancestors from the black-white deity palace were here. 6 godly monarchs. This force alone was enough to destroy some of the weaker planes in the Ionic starfield. Che Pen continued, 20 of the 11 totem ancestors from the Su clan are here as well, but only 5 godly monarchs with heaven's will. There's also a 12 totem ancient god. There were only 3 known 12 totem ancient gods in the Ionic starfield. The Su clan had one. This time, the Su clan sent a 12 totem ancient god. Taurus Longjiao grinned, the Su clan is actually willing to send a 12 totem ancient god. If he dies, won't they cry themselves to death? Because it was too difficult to break through to the 12 totem level, a 12 totem ancient god was even more precious than a godly monarch. Some 12 totem ancient gods were even comparable to godly monarchs with heaven's will. This was because some godly monarchs only had 11 totems before fusing with heaven's will. Even after fusing with heaven's will, their battle strength was only on par with a 12 totem ancient god. From this, one could see how precious a 12 totem ancient god was. Once a 12 totem ancient god fused with heaven's will, their battle strength would far surpass other godly monarchs. Lu Yiping asked, are all the godly monarchs with one heaven's will? Ancient gods comprehended the laws of the god realm and could continuously form totems. The limit was 10 totems. The same was true for godly monarchs who could fuse with heaven's will. Yes, they're all godly monarchs with one heaven's will. Che Peng respectfully said, now, the black-white deity palace has ordered the nearby masters to arrange a large array, enveloping the space around Ziwei City. Alright, I got it. Lu Yiping said. Then, he took out a bucket of violet gold chaos water and gave it to Che Peng. In this life, Tianming will be born. You have to cultivate harder. Before fusing with the mandate of heaven's will, the stronger one would be after breaking through to the God King realm. Furthermore, the stronger one was, the stronger the mandate of heaven would be. Just like totems, there was a difference in strength between heaven's wills and totems. Some ordinary ancient gods could condense totems that were only a few hundred meters long, while some monstrous geniuses could condense totems that were more than 50 kilometers long. Che Zipeng received the purple gold chaos water and respectfully thanked Lu Yiping. Rest assured, Lord. This junior will work hard in his cultivation. Then, he retreated. After Che Peng left, Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao sat cross-legged under the tree and continued to cultivate. Now, Lu Yiping had Chi Yu and the others from the Limitless Star Palace help him water the rainbow gourd root. Therefore, he didn't need to do it himself. Lu Yiping had already refined Mount Buzhou. Therefore, he could sense the changes in the rainbow gourd root that was part of Mount Buzhou at any time. As for the violet gold gourd, Lu Yiping had it continuously devour the chaos energy produced by the tree and continuously produce violet gold chaos water. As long as there was chaos energy, the violet gold gourd could produce a bucket of violet gold chaos water every day. In the past few years, Lu Yiping had more than 1,000 buckets of violet gold chaos water on him. However, he already had so much star chaos water that he couldn't use it all, not to mention the violet gold chaos water. While Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao were cultivating, Su Qing learned that the Su family and black-white deity palace had joined forces and sent experts over. Is there any movement from the Che Manor? Su Qing asked Senior Commander Du Heng. Du Heng shook his head, no, the Che family's 12 totem ancient gods are still inside the Che Manor. After a pause, he continued, City Lord, Lu Shangyi's group of 5 entered the Che Manor that day. As for the other 4, I've already investigated. One is the Red Flame Chamber of Commerce's president, Lord Wan Litong, one is vice president, Lord Sun Quan, and the other 2 are eminent elders. Su Qing pondered, why did Lord Wan Litong enter the Che Manor? To make a deal with the Che family's 12 totem ancient gods. Should be. Du Heng nodded. Su Qing sneered, so what if they know Lord Wan Litong? Now, even Lord Wan Litong can't protect them. The Che family's 12 totem ancient gods should already know that our Su family and Black-White Deity Palace's experts are coming, but why didn't they escape? Du Heng was puzzled. Indifferent, Su Qing said, now, the space around Ziwei City has been enveloped by the Black-White Deity Palace's grand array. Even if they want to escape, can they escape? With the arrival of the Su family and Black-White Deity Palace's ancestors, Ziwei City and the surrounding cities became quiet. The streets of Ziwei City, which were usually bustling with traffic, gradually became deserted. In the end, not even a shadow could be seen. The experts of Ziwei City and the surrounding cities all felt the pressure before the storm. Some of the more attentive experts also found that the flow of air in Ziwei City seemed to have stagnated. Even the falling leaves on both sides of the street slowed down a lot. Even the Che Manor's experts and disciples were restless. Ziwei City and the surrounding cities were terrifyingly quiet. A few days passed. In the sky, a group of black spots appeared. The black spots moved slowly, and as this group of black spots moved forward, the light of darkness and light intertwined endlessly. At the same time, on the other side of the sky, a group of black spots appeared. This group of black spots had no darkness, no light, but as they moved, golden light and sacred shadows followed. In the end, the two groups of black spots converged, and then came together to Ziwei City. The Black-White Deity Palace and the Su family's ancestors did not hide their auras. The auras of 200 powerful ancestors spread out, and the wind and clouds surged, thunder roared and lightning flashed, and a storm continued to roll. The experts of Ziwei City and the surrounding cities felt the astonishing aura of the Black-White Deity Palace and the Su family's ancestors, and all trembled. God King, the King of Gods. The King of Gods. It was also the limit of the lower realm. Usually, God King powerhouses rarely came out, but now, the Black-White Deity Palace had 6 God Kings. The Su family had 5, and at the same time, an ancient god with 12 totems came. The aura of the 12 people suppressed the heavens. They're finally here. Su Qing was overjoyed, and hurriedly led the experts of Ziwei City out of Ziwei City to greet them from afar. Greetings to great-granduncle and all the lords. Su Qing came in front of the Su family's experts and hurriedly bowed. This time, the Su family was led by God King Su Yu, who was also Su Qing's great-granduncle. Su Yu let Su Qing and the others get up and led everyone to the sky above Ziwei City. His gaze passed through layers of space and locked onto Ziwei City. Chapter 304. The one from the Che family, come out. Su Yu stood in the air, his cold voice resounding throughout Ziwei City. Inside the Che Manor, Che Suping, Che Enji, Che Chunli, and the rest stood behind Che Peng, their faces filled with fear. Che Peng's expression was calm as he soared into the air, looking at Su Yu's group through the layers of space. Che Suping, Che Enji, Che Chunli, and the rest followed Che Peng into the air. Indifferent, Wang Teng looked at Che Peng. You used the Big Dipper star fist a few days ago. We investigated. Che family's progenitor Che Zipeng was a disciple of the Big Dipper Divine Palace in the ancient times. You're Che Peng, right? The moment Wang Teng's words came out, the Che family experts looked at Che Peng in shock. Che Peng. This returning Che family elder was actually their Che family's progenitor, Lord Che Peng. All the experts in Ziwei City were in an uproar. The Che family's progenitor in the ancient times? Wasn't that an old monster from 1,000,000 years ago? Su Qing was also surprised. That's right, I'm Che Peng. Che Peng's expression was normal. He was not surprised that the Black-White Deity Palace could investigate. I didn't expect you to really be Che Peng. Indifferent, Wang Ting smiled. Looks like you swallowed a heavenly treasure to increase your lifespan. At this time, a Su family expert stepped forward and said to Su Yu, fourth uncle, let me kill this person. This Su family expert was ancient god Sun Yen of the Su family's 12 totems. Sun Yan was the Su family's monstrous genius and the only ancient god with 12 totems in the past 300,000 years. With the help of the Su family's treasures, he was already at the peak of the late 12 totems. Moreover, the Su family had already announced that in this life, they would fight for the heaven's will for Sun Yan. Sun Yan was at the peak of the late 12 totems. Once he merged with the heaven's will, his battle strength could be imagined. All right. Su Yu nodded. Although Che Peng also had 12 totems, as far as they knew, Che Zipeng was only at the early 12 totems. Sun Yan should be able to suppress Che Peng. Sun Yan stepped forward, stepping in the air towards Che Manor. Che Peng was about to step forward to fight, when suddenly, an indifferent voice sounded, "No need to trouble yourself." His voice was so abrupt that everyone was stunned. Then, a young man in light blue clothes and a burly man with a golden retriever walked out of the Che mansion and hovered above it. When Che Peng saw Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao coming out, he hurriedly stepped forward and saluted, "My lords." Lu Yiping nodded and looked at the Su family and the black-white palace. "There's no need to go through so much trouble. The 200 of you can come together." Everyone was stunned. The Su family and the experts of the Black-White Palace were all furious. Sun Yan's eyes turned frosty. "Why do we need 200 people to annihilate your Che family? I alone am enough." As he said this, bright light burst out from his body, and totem tattoos flew out one after another. A total of 12 totems illuminated the world. Each totem was the same as Che Peng, which was 120 miles long. With the appearance of the 12 totems, an astonishing amount of power and pressure swept across the area. Everyone was shocked. Even the Su family and the Black-White Palace's 11 totem tattoos ancestors were stunned. Looking at Sun Yan's 12 totem tattoos, everyone was shocked. The Eternal Star Field and Che Peng had 4 12 totem tattoos. Anyone who saw the 12 totem tattoos couldn't help but be shocked. 9 Saint Fist. Sun Yan pushed the 12 totem tattoos' power to the limit and punched out at Lu Yiping. When his fist punched out, the 12 totem tattoos emitted dazzling light, and power roared out. 9 Saint Phantoms floated in the air. Sun Yan's 9 Saint Fist was many times stronger than Su Qing's 9 Saint Fist. 9 different kinds of power turned into 9 giant rivers, rumbling, tearing open layers of space as they rushed towards Lu Yiping, Che Zipeng, and the others. Sun Yan's totem tattoos were comparable to Che Peng's, but they were at the peak of the late-stage 12 totem tattoos. His power had long surpassed Che Peng's. The power of this punch was stronger than the one Che Zipeng had used to destroy Su Tong, Su Qing, and the Castellan Manor's experts. The group of Che Manor's experts paled when they felt the destructive power of Sun Yan's punch. Lu Yiping looked at the other party's rolling fist, but his expression remained indifferent. His divine sense condensed, and the golden palm appeared once again. But this time, the golden palm was several million times bigger than the one from a few days ago. It covered the sky, covering half of the Ziwei city's sky. Under the sunlight, the golden palm emitted thousands of rays of golden light. Lu Yiping raised his hand, pressing down on the void. The golden palm was like a falling golden mountain, smashing down on Sun Yan. Before the golden palm could land, Sun Yan felt a terrifying power beyond his imagination pressing down on him. His body involuntarily fell, as if he was about to be crushed into pieces. He was terrified, and the light around his body burned brightly, wanting to run for his life. But the golden palm was too fast. Just as Sun Yan ran away, he was hit by the golden palm. Before everyone's eyes, the golden palm slammed Sun Yan and his 12 totem tattoos into the Ziwei city's ground. Bang! The Ziwei city's ground shook violently. Dust flew into the air. After Sun Yan was slammed into the Ziwei city's ground, the aftershock of the golden palm's attack spread out in all directions. The aftershock of the aftershock caused buildings to collapse, turning them into dust. Everyone stared blankly at Sun Yan, who was slammed into the ground. A long time later, when the dust settled, everyone looked over and saw a golden palm print on the ground at the center of the Ziwei city. Sun Yan's head was facing down, lying motionless in the middle of the palm print. His body was completely torn apart, and his 12 totem tattoos had already exploded. Everyone looked at Lu Yiping in shock. Maybe it was because Lu Yiping's power was too shocking, so the Su family members did not dare to step forward to save Sun Yan. "Who are you?" After a long time, Su spoke, unable to keep his voice calm. He looked at Lu Yiping, and the fear in his heart was hard to conceal. Although he was a god king with one heaven's mandate, his battle prowess was similar to Sun Yan's. Lu Yiping did not speak. Light surged from his body, and a terrifying aura burst out from Lu Yiping's body, piercing straight into the Jiutian. The Ziwei city and the several hundred cities around it shook violently. Then, heaven and earth trembled. Everyone felt the sky shaking and the earth quaking, as if something terrifying was about to come out from heaven and earth. Then, the black-white deity palace, Su family, and Ziwei city's experts saw a giant shadow breaking through the void. When this giant shadow broke through the void, everyone had an illusion that Ziwei city, which was as big as a continent, had become much smaller. The giant shadow covered the sky, and the world was plunged into darkness. Not only Ziwei city, but even the surrounding cities were plunged into darkness. When the experts in the surrounding cities saw the rising black shadow, their faces were filled with shock. "What is this?" One of the black-white deity palace's 11 totem ancestors stuttered. Wang Teng stared dumbfoundedly at the rising shadow, and a thought flashed in his mind, could it be totem? This is a totem. A Su family's god king exclaimed. Chapter 305. What? Totem? One of the black-white divine palace's ancestors was dumbfounded, unable to believe his eyes. This terrifying black shadow bigger than Ziwei city was a totem? How could there be such a totem in this world? Everyone had the same look of disbelief on their faces, all of them were frightened. Even Che Suping and the Che family's experts were in disbelief. Everyone in Ziwei city and the surrounding cities were looking at this inconceivably huge totem in awe. The totem's golden light surged, and the divine world's laws coiled around it. Everyone swore that they had never seen such a huge divine world's laws. It's 100 million divine world's laws. Su Yu's voice trembled. Not only were the divine world's laws as big as a dragon, but the number of laws condensed from a single totem reached 100 million. Hearing Su Yu's words, everyone finally noticed that Lu Yiping's totem had reached 100 million divine world's laws. How could this be? How could this be? How could there be such a monster in this world? Wang Teng muttered to himself in a daze. Che Zipeng looked at Lu Yiping's totem, unable to suppress his excitement and fear. He couldn't imagine how Lu Yiping managed to condense such an unimaginably huge totem. Sun Yan, who had just been blasted into the ground and was on the verge of death, looked at the rising totem in the sky with a face full of shock. In his eyes, there was only this slowly rising totem. Just when everyone thought it was over, the world shook again, and this time, the shaking was even more violent. A terrifying aura enveloped heaven and earth. Everyone was terrified. Just now, when Lu Yiping's totem flew out, heaven and earth shook so violently, could it be? Just as this thought flashed through everyone's mind, the world buzzed, and a huge black shadow flew out. This black shadow was as big as the previous black shadow, and similarly shone with golden light. The second totem. Su Yu was tongue-tied. The second totem was nothing, the key was Lu Yiping's second totem was as big as the previous totem. Moreover, both had 100 million divine world's laws, and each law was as big as a dragon. When the two great totems rose up and hung high in the sky, terrifying power swept out layer after layer. Waves of qi continued to roll, rushing out of Ziwei city and covering the surrounding cities. The surrounding cities shook violently. Everyone looked at the two great totems in the sky in shock. One totem had already covered the sky of Ziwei City, then what about two great totems? Everyone could no longer see the color of the sky. Just as everyone was looking at the two great totems in the sky in shock, the heavens and earth shook violently again, and this time, the shaking was even more intense than before. Everyone was shocked. It can't be the three totems, can it? A patriarch of the Black-White Divine Palace was so shocked that he could not speak. Just as he finished speaking, another totem flew out. The third totem was as large as the first two. Similarly, the golden light was dazzling. Similarly, there were 100 million divine world laws. Similarly, each divine world law was as large as a primordial dragon. When Lu Yiping's three totems rose into the air, the Jyotian seemed to be unable to withstand the power of the three totems. It buzzed incessantly, and the Jyotian's stellar energy churned like boiling water, rippling out into the surroundings. Under the power of the three great totems, the experts of the Su family and Black-White Divine Palace felt as if 100 million mountains were pressing down on them, and they fell from the sky. Sensing the terrifying pressure from the sky, the 11 Divine King experts of the Su family and Black-White Divine Palace circulated all the energy in their bodies in fear. One after another, heaven's wills flew out like heavenly rivers. The heaven's wills condensed the supreme power of heaven and earth. 11 heaven's wills flew out, sweeping out waves of energy. The other ancestors of the Su family and Black-White Divine Palace also activated their totems. Some had 11 totems, while others had 10. The light of the totems illuminated the world. The power of the totems surged out madly, gathering together like a monstrous sea. But it was useless. Under the power of Lu Yiping's three great totems, all the heaven's wills fell from the sky, unable to fly. Cracks began to appear on the divine armors of the Su family and Black-White Divine Palace's ancestors. Suddenly, another totem flew out from Lu Yiping's body. The fourth totem. The ancestors of the Su family and Black-White Divine Palace were already in despair when they saw Lu Yiping's fourth totem appear. It was as large as the previous three totems. The experts of the Su family and Black-White Divine Palace seemed to have fallen into a bottomless abyss of despair. The four great totems hung high in the sky, and Jyotian stellar energy surged. Waves of energy swept out, covering the surrounding cities. The experts in one city after another were alarmed. The continent where Ziwei City was located was called the Great Dragon Continent. It was vast and boundless, with tens of thousands of cities, ancient forests, and the four forbidden lands. Many old antiques were hidden in these ancient forests and forbidden lands. But as the power of the four great totems swept out, more and more of them were awakened. Although they couldn't see the four great totems, they could feel the terrifying aura and power of the four totems. What's going on? More and more old antiques flew in the direction of Ziwei City. As these old antiques neared Ziwei City, they gradually saw the four incomparably terrifying shadows on the horizon. All the old antiques stopped in their tracks, aghast. What the F***ck are these totems? The Red Flame Chamber of Commerce's headquarters was also on the Great Dragon Continent. At this time, Wan Litong and Sun Quan were discussing Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao when they suddenly felt four waves of energy that caused their hearts to palpitate. Wan Litong and Sun Quan stopped at the same time and soared into the sky. Is this the direction of Ziwei City? Sun Quan was surprised. Ziwei City. Lu Yiping stood high in the sky, his aura as majestic as hell, like a god ancestor above the heavens. After the four great totems flew out, another huge shadow flew out. The fifth totem. Under the impact of the five great totems, the divine armors on Su Yu, Wang Teng, the Su family, and the Black-White Deity Palace's experts exploded. But it didn't stop there. Su Yu, Wang Teng, and the rest were forced to bend over. Su Yu, Wang Teng, and the rest frantically urged the energy in their bodies to resist the power of the five great totems. Activate the 9 sages' grand magic. Su Yu roared. At Su Yu's command, all the Su family's ancestors activated the 9 sages' grand magic. In an instant, 9 huge shadows condensed, emitting rays of light. Activate the black-white divine art. Wang Ting roared. The black-white deity palace's ancestors all activated the black-white divine art. In an instant, surging pillars of darkness and light intertwined, soaring into the sky. Lu Yiping's face was indifferent. Then, the 6th totem, 7th totem, 8th totem, 9th totem, and 10th totem soared into the sky like rockets. The 10 great totems hung in the sky above the Jiutian, their terrifying power seemed to be about to burst the sky. The terrifying power swept through mountain range after mountain range, city after city, rushing to every corner of the Great Dragon continent. When the 10 great totems soared into the sky, the billions of experts on the Great Dragon continent were alarmed. At this time, Lu Yiping's 11 totems soared into the sky. When the 11 totems soared into the sky, heaven and earth rumbled. The power of the 11 totems rushed out of the Great Dragon continent. It spread to the surrounding continents. Following that, Lu Yiping's 12 totems flew out. The 12 totems' power continued to attack the surrounding continents. Finally, the 13 totems flew out. Chapter 306. 13 totems flew out, illuminating the entire Jiutian. Finally, the sky could no longer withstand the power of the 13 totems. Terrifying cracks began to appear in the sky. The cracks continued to expand, turning pitch black. Chaotic air currents tumbled within the cracks, emitting terrifying explosive sounds that made one's scalp go numb. When the 13 totems hung above the Jiutian, layers of energy spread out like a doomsday sea, drowning all the cities, mountains, forests, and plains of the Great Dragon continent. It continued to spread to the surrounding continents. It was like a layer of invisible air waves, covering the skies of the Great Dragon continent and the surrounding continents. All the experts from the Tailong continent and the surrounding continents saw the boundless waves of qi. Some of the old antiques hidden in the ancient forests and forbidden lands wanted to fly up into the sky, but they were all pushed back by the boundless waves of qi, and they vomited blood incessantly. On the Great Dragon continent, a silver-robed old man was sent crashing to the ground. Is that the Silver Sea Demon? Some experts recognized the silver-robed old man and were shocked. The Silver Sea Demon was an old antique from 300,000 years ago. He had already merged with the heavens will and became a god king several 100,000 years ago. Now, under the boundless air waves, even the heavens will god king couldn't fly up. Who is it? Who has such destructive power? Could it be the Aeon god Manor's Lord Manor Lord? More experts of the Great Dragon continent flew towards the source of the air waves, wanting to see what was going on. Even the Scarlet Flame Chamber of Commerce's president Wan Litong and Sun Quan flew towards the source of the air waves. However, no one dared to fly too high, only flying at a low altitude. I'm a little bird, flying, but I can't fly high. Not only the experts of the Great Dragon continent, but also the experts of the 6 continents around the Great Dragon continent flew towards the Ziwei city. At this moment, they realized that the sky was so high. Finally, the Scarlet Flame Chamber of Commerce's president Wan Litong and Sun Quan saw the 13 unimaginably huge shadows in the sky above the Ziwei city. The 13 shadows completely covered the other side of the sky. Looking from Wan Litong and Sun Quan's direction, they couldn't see the other side of the sky. It was as if the end of the sky was where the 13 shadows were. Wan Litong and Sun Quan's minds went blank as they stared at the 13 shadows at the end of the sky. 13 totems. And it was such a terrifying and powerful 13 totems. Since the ancient times, the 13 totems had not appeared for millions of years. In the Eternal Star area, there were only a few of the 12 totems. Now, the 13 totems had reappeared. Who is it? Could it be that Lord Shaojin? Sun Quan's voice trembled. It was no wonder that he would think so. After all, Taurus Longjiao had killed hundreds of thousands of Bloody Moon faction members with one strike. Only the 13 totems could kill hundreds of thousands of Bloody Moon faction members with one strike of the cudgel. Let's get closer and take a look. Wan Litong's mouth was dry. Although the power at the end of the sky was becoming more and more terrifying, even if it meant risking his life, he still wanted to see with his own eyes who had condensed the 13 totems. Getting closer and closer, Wan Litong and Sun Quan finally saw the light blue figure hovering above Ziwei City. The light blue figure stood with his hands clasped behind his back, his robe fluttering loudly in the wind. The light of the 13 totems shone brightly above his head. When they saw that it was Lu Yiping, Wan Litong and Sun Quan felt their hearts stop. Lu Yiping stood high in the air. His 180-meter figure was not big, but standing there, he was the sky. The sky that no one could surpass. At this time, Su Yu, Wang Teng, the Su family, and the Black-White Deity Palace's experts were all pressed to the ground by the power of the 13 totems. Then, they were deeply imprinted into the ground. Before they were deeply imprinted into the ground, they saw the 13 totems that had been shining for thousands of years. They saw a scene that they would never forget in their lives. This scene, even if they lived until the end of time, they would never forget it, nor could they forget it. They were no longer in despair. Because when Lu Yiping summoned the 5 totems, they couldn't be any more despairing. As for Su Qing, Wu family's patriarch Wu Weidong, and the rest, looking at the 13 totems, they were overwhelmed with disbelief and shock. Some of the family's experts that once opposed the Che family were so scared that they were foaming at the mouth. Che Suping and the group of Che family's experts were also looking up at the light blue figure and the 13 totems in awe. Lu Yiping looked at Su Yu, Wang Teng, and the rest who were pressed into the ground. He didn't make any move, but the 13 totems hanging above the Jiutian shook, and a trace of power rushed out from the 13 totems. In an instant, a world-destroying power blasted towards Su Yu, Wang Teng, and the rest. Su Yu, Wang Teng, and the rest were unable to move, they could only let the power fall on them. First, Su Yu, Wang Teng, and the rest surging heavens will totems were blasted to pieces. Su Yu, Wang Teng, and the rest of the Su family and Black-White Deity Palace's experts vomited blood. The power continued to fall. Su Yu, Wang Teng, and the rest were like crispy eggs, shattered in an instant. Even heavens will God King Su Yu, Wang Teng, and the rest were no exception. All of them were crushed into blood and flesh, fusing into Ziwei City's ground. As for the 12 totems Sun Yan, he was also crushed to death. Although everyone had expected this outcome, seeing the Su family and Black-White Deity Palace's 200 experts being crushed to death still shocked them. 11 heavens will God kings. A 12 totem ancient god. More than a dozen 11th totem ancient gods and more than 110th totem ancient gods died just like that. Lu Yiping's gaze swept over Su Qing and the rest in the distance. Su Qing, the city lord of Ziwei City, felt his heart stop when he saw Lu Yiping looking at him. Xiao Jin. Lu Yiping called out. Master. Taurus Longjiao responded. Follow me to the Black-White Deity Palace. Lu Yiping said indifferently. Taurus Longjiao complied. Lu Yiping had Che Lai Peng clean up the scene, then kept the totems and flew away with Taurus Longjiao. They were heading in the direction of the Black-White Deity Palace. Watching Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao disappear into the horizon, everyone was dumbfounded. They're going to the Black-White Deity Palace. One of Ziwei City's ancestors muttered to himself, is this a world-ending war? World-ending war. Hearing this, the surrounding experts' hearts sank. The Black-White Deity Palace's heritage spanned nearly 2 million years. Moreover, the Black-White Deity Palace's forces were deeply rooted in the ancient star field, and they had countless allies. With Lu Yiping's trip, would it trigger the greatest war in the ancient star field? While Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao were heading to the Black-White Deity Palace, the ancient god Manor also received the news from Ziwei City. What, 13 totems? Ancient God Manor's young Lord Sikongifei was shocked when he heard the news. Yes, according to the news from Ziwei City, the Che family's expert's totem is incomparably huge. Ancient God Manor's Grand Commander Tao Jiong said with a complicated expression. Hearing Tao Jiong's words, Sikongifei was stunned. How big? Chapter 307. Tao Mu muttered, according to the news, this person's totem is bigger than Ziwei City. Sikongifei was stunned for a long time. Bigger than Ziwei City? Ziwei City was an extremely ancient city in the Boundless Plain. He naturally knew how big it was. At this time, in the ancestral land of Black-White Deity Palace, Zhuozhihui did not know why, but he felt uneasy. This feeling made him feel that something big was about to happen. He wanted to cultivate, but he could not calm down. Immediately, he summoned Black-White Deity Palace's palace master, Fan Qi, and asked, "Is there any news from Ziwei City?" Fan Qi saw Zhuozhihui's uneasy appearance and said with a smile, "Old ancestor, rest assured, old ancestor Wang Teng and the other 6 god kings, and 2011 totems, Che family's 12 totems will definitely not be able to escape." Then he added, "Moreover, there's also Black-White Deity Palace's Su Yu, Sun Yan, and the other experts. Even if Che family has 312 totems, they will definitely be destroyed." Zhuozhihui nodded and said, "Maybe I'm thinking too much, I'm always uneasy." Fan Qi was about to speak when the communication talisman suddenly shook. He smiled and said, "There should be news from Ziwei City." Then he took out the communication talisman and opened it. Seeing the contents of the communication talisman, Fan Qi's eyes widened, his face was filled with disbelief, and then it became ugly to the extreme. How is this possible? Zhuozhihui's heart sank. He took the communication talisman from Fan Qi's hand and looked. His face was also ugly to the extreme. 6 god kings have all fallen. 100 old ancestors have all been crushed to pieces. 13 totems that are bigger than Ziwei City. Looking at the messages in the communication talisman, Zhuozhihui's hands trembled. In his heart, he had never been so shocked and angry. Nurturing an 11 totems was already not easy, and nurturing each god king was even more difficult. Every time they fought for God's will, they needed to fight a bloody battle. But now, 2011 totem ancient gods had perished in a single day, as well as 6 divine kings of Tianming. Even Black-White Deity Palace could not bear such a price. How could this be? 13 totems. This puny little Che family actually had a 13 totem. And the totems condensed were even bigger than Ziwei City. According to the historical records of the gods, the master of myriad gods had created 13 totems in ancient times, and each of them was no more than 1,000 miles long. 1,000 miles was already hard to imagine, but now, this Che family expert was several times stronger than the totem of the master of myriad gods. Bigger than Ziwei City. Zhuozhihui took a deep breath and tried to calm himself down as much as possible. Although he could not personally witness the Battle of Ziwei City, he could imagine just how soul-shaking a totem that was even larger than Ziwei City would be. "Ancestor, what should we do now?" Fan Qi asked, his voice trembling. At the end of the message talisman, it said that the Che clan's expert was leading a golden-haired brawny man towards the Black-White Deity Palace master. Zhuozhihui stood up and his majestic aura soared to the sky. The 5 dazzling heavens wills broke through the sky. Instantly, the Black-White Divine Palace changed color. There were strong and weak heavens mandates. Before this, Wang Teng and the others' heavens mandates were only 30 to 40 miles, but now, Zhuozhihui's was close to 200 miles. Moreover, he was a godly monarch with 5 wills. The billions of disciples, elders, grand elders, peak lords, hall lords, and ancestors of the Black-White Deity Palace all stopped when they sensed Zhuozhihui's shocking aura. Activate the strongest divine formation and prepare for battle. Zhuozhihui's dignified voice reverberated through every peak of the Black-White Deity Palace. The billions of disciples answered in unison, "Yes." Divine light filled the air. Countless peaks of the black-white deity palace soared into the sky. All the sects and cities near the black-white deity palace saw this soaring divine light. The black-white deity palace has fully activated the strongest divine formation. What's going on? Is there someone who dares to attack the black-white deity palace? The experts from the nearby sects and cities were shocked to see the black-white deity palace fully activated the divine formation and entered the strongest state for battle. A colossal entity like the black-white divine palace had almost never fully activated its protective divine formation, because no one dared to attack it. After fully activating the formation, Zhuo Zhihui contacted the strongest ancestor of the Su family, Su Dingfeng. A moment later, several hundred figures rushed out from the Su family's main residence and rushed toward the black-white deity palace at an astonishing speed. The one leading them was the strongest ancestor of the Su family, Su Dingfeng. Like Zhuo Zhihui, Su Dingfeng was a godly monarch with 5 wills. Now, the Su family was on the same boat as the black-white deity palace. If the black-white deity palace was destroyed, the Su family might be next. Therefore, Su Dingfeng led all the ancestors of the Su family to help the black-white deity palace. After contacting the Su family, Zhuo Zhihui contacted the 5 direction divine sects, Profound Yang divine sect, Myriad God sect, and more than a dozen other superpowers. The black-white deity palace had stood tall in the eternal star field for close to 2 million years and had countless allies. For example, the palace lords of the black-white deity palace had married the daughters of the sect masters of the 5 direction divine sects, Profound Yang divine sect, and Myriad God sect. After receiving Zhuo Zhihui's message, the 5 direction divine sects, Profound Yang divine sect, Myriad God sect, and the rest of the superpowers immediately rushed to the black-white deity palace. However, the other 6 superpowers who received the message didn't help the black-white deity palace after weighing the benefits. Even so, the Su family, 5 direction divine sects, Profound Yang divine sect, and Myriad God sects experts moved out, shocking the boundless plain. The 5 direction divine sects, Profound Yang divine sect, and Myriad God sect were all part of the 100 sects. Just like the black-white deity palace, they were giants in the eternal star field. Any one of the 100 sects could shake the boundless plain with a stomp of their feet. But now, the black-white deity palace, Su family, 5 direction divine sects, Profound Yang divine sect, and Myriad God sect had joined forces. One could imagine how shaken the boundless plain would be. As the experts of the 5 direction divine sects, Profound Yang divine sect, and Myriad God sect rushed to the black-white deity palace, more and more sects and families learned of what happened in Ziwei City. An unimaginably large 13 great totems. Everyone was shocked and they found out that a small first-rate family in Ziwei City had produced an unimaginably powerful expert with 13 totems, who had annihilated the black-white deity palace, the Su family's 11 god kings, one 12-totem ancestor, and a group of ancestors. However, no matter how large the 13 great totems are, it's impossible for him to be strong enough to fight against the black-white deity palace, Su family, 5 direction divine sects, Profound Yang divine sect, and Myriad God sect alone, right? Everyone discussed. More and more experts rushed to the Baiyu continent where the black-white deity palace was located. Lu Yiping, who was on his way to the black-white deity palace, also learned that the Su family, 5 direction divine sects, Profound Yang divine sect, and Myriad God sect had supported the black-white deity palace. After learning this, Lu Yiping was not in a hurry. When he passed by some cities with Taurus Longjiao, he stopped to drink and eat barbecued meat. When the Su family, 5 direction divine sects, Profound Yang divine sect, and Myriad God sect arrived, it wouldn't be too late for him to take action. Chapter 308. 10 days later. Seeing that it was about time, Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao sped up. At this time, the Su family, 5 directions divine sects, Profound Sun divine sect, Myriad God sect, and the rest of the super sects had arrived at the black-white divine palace. Inside the main hall of the black-white divine palace, Zhuo Zhihui raised his cup and said to the Su family's experts, "Many thanks to everyone, I can't thank you enough." Su Dingfeng waved his hand, "Brother Zhuo is too polite." Everyone raised their cups and drank. With that person's strength, it wouldn't take him more than 10 days to come here from Ziwei City. But now, this person has yet to appear. Could it be that he knows that our 5 directions divine sects, profound known divine cults, and myriad god sects experts are here, so he escaped halfway? 5 directions divine sects ancestor Zhang Zhilin harumphed. Zhang Zhilin was the strongest ancestor of the 5 directions divine sect, also a god king with 5 wills. The strongest ancestor of the myriad god sect, Dai Wei, said solemnly, that might be possible. Dai Wei was also a god king with 5 wills. The founder of the myriad gods sect was a direct disciple of the master of myriad gods in ancient times. Therefore, when he founded the sect, he named it the myriad gods sect. The myriad gods sect oversaw a region, and its prestige in the ancient star field was even higher than that of the black-white deity palace and the Su family. The profound sun divine sect's god king with 5 wills, Yen Siming, said, "Let's wait for 3 more days. If he doesn't appear, we'll go to Ziwei City and destroy the Che family first. Kill the Che family's experts with 12 totems first." Many of the god kings present voiced their agreement. Zhuo Zhihui recalled the ancestors of the black-white divine palace that died, and a cold light flickered in his eyes. "Let's hope he shows up in these 3 days." Far away from the black-white divine palace, 2 figures stepped through the air, flying over. One blue and one golden, it was Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao. The sun was shining brightly, and Taurus Longjiao's head of golden retriever looked like gold, emitting a golden radiance. The black-white divine palace was surrounded by experts from all over the world. When they saw Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao, a commotion broke out. Che family's 13 totems. Didn't the rumors say that he was 10,000 feet tall? The various experts whispered amongst themselves as they looked at Lu Yiping in awe, curiosity, and even suspicion. Although Lu Yiping destroyed the Su clan and the 11 Heavens Mandate monarchs of the black-white divine palace, many people still didn't believe that Lu Yiping's totem was even bigger than Ziwei City. One had to know that Sikong Yifei, the young master of the Aeon God Palace, was a freak from the Aeon Star Domain, but his totem only spanned 130 miles. No matter how monstrous the talent of this Che clan's expert was, it was impossible for him to condense such a terrifying totem, right? Therefore, everyone still suspected that the experts of Ziwei City at that time were exaggerating. Among the crowd, the Red Flame Chamber of Commerce's president, Wan Litong, and Sun Quan were also hiding in the crowd. When they learned that Lu Yiping was coming to the Black-White Deity Palace, they had also come early. While everyone was talking, Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao arrived at the Black-White Palace. When the Black-White Deity Palace's disciples saw Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao's arrival, they were alarmed and had already reported to the higher-ups. After arriving, Taurus Longjiao looked at the Black-White Deity Palace's protective divine array and stepped forward. A golden pillar appeared in his hand. Seeing that Taurus Longjiao was about to make a move, everyone was bewildered. The Che clan's expert doesn't plan to make a move. Could it be that his subordinate wants to make a move? This subordinate of his wouldn't be one of the 12 totems, right? On the other hand, Wan Litong and Sun Quan's eyes narrowed. In truth, when Taurus Longjiao said that he had annihilated several 100,000 people of the Blood Moon faction with a single strike of his staff, they were still skeptical. Taurus Longjiao stepped forward, and the golden pillar in his hand suddenly grew several times bigger, resembling a super invincible golden staff that stood between heaven and earth. Then, this invincible golden staff that stood between heaven and earth, spanning countless layers of space, struck out horizontally. Swoosh! When the invincible golden staff swept out, a terrifying energy wave formed, billowing like a torrential wave that blotted out the sky. Wherever the golden staff passed, space was torn apart. Even though they were separated by a great distance, they could still feel the terrifying energy of the torrential energy wave, and the unimaginable destructive power contained within the invincible golden staff. A few god kings who were watching the battle from the depths of outer space were knocked out of outer space by the terrifying waves of air and the golden rod. They constantly vomited blood. Among them, there was no lack of 2 god kings. The group of god kings vomiting blood that fell out from the void were aghast. Some heavens mandate god kings who had not been hit by the rod fled from the void in fright. They fled with all their might, afraid that they would be hit by the golden rod. Boom! The invincible golden staff pierced through countless li of space, stirring up a storm of unknown caddies, sweeping across the black-white deity palace's protective divine array. Heaven and earth rumbled as if the sky was about to explode. The black-white deity palace's countless mountain peaks trembled. The black-white deity palace's protective divine array exploded like fireworks, shooting out rays of light in all directions before dimming down in an instant. Following the destruction of the protective divine array, the black-white deity palace's mountain peaks crumbled one after another. Inside the black-white deity palace's main hall, Zhuo Zhihui, Su Dingfeng, and the rest were listening to the black-white deity palace's disciple report the arrival of the Che family's expert when they heard an earth-shattering explosion. The entire black-white deity palace shook. Everyone rushed out from the main hall in shock and saw a golden staff sweeping towards them. Feeling the destructive energy that blotted out the sky, Zhuo Zhihui, Su Dingfeng, and the rest's faces paled. Without time to think, they fled frantically. Just as they fled, they heard the black-white deity palace's main hall behind them. Some god kings who couldn't dodge in time were swept away and exploded. The golden staff swept all the way to the end of the black-white deity palace's main hall before stopping. Everyone looked over and saw the black-white deity palace's mountain peaks crumbling and collapsing from the north to the south. Every mountain peak was flattened from halfway up. All the palaces on the mountain peaks were reduced to dust. An endless rain of blood fell from the sky. Everyone was aghast, including the Scarlet Flame Chamber of Commerce's Wan Litong and Sun Quan. They stared dumbfoundedly at the flattened mountain peaks and the debris of palaces floating in the air. It was as if they were reminded of the Blood Yue Gang's flying ship fragments they saw in the galaxy. Now, they finally understood how the Blood Yue Gang's several 100,000 members were annihilated with a single staff strike. Zhuo Zhihui, Su Dingfeng, Zhang Jilin, David, Yan Siming, and the rest who managed to escape looked at Taurus Longjiao with pale faces. Their hearts pounded madly, clearly frightened by the golden staff's sweeping attack. Zhuo Zhihui, Su Dingfeng, and the rest sucked in a breath of cold air as they watched the black-white deity palace's mountain peaks being flattened. Taurus Longjiao retrieved the golden staff after the sweeping attack, returning to Lu Yiping's side. Lu Yiping's gaze swept over Zhuo Zhihui and the rest, and his gaze fell on an ancestor standing beside Zhuo Zhihui. Chapter 309. Although the ancestor next to Zhuo Zhihui concealed himself well, the purple extreme demonic qi in his body couldn't escape Lu Yiping's notice. When the ancestor noticed Lu Yiping's gaze locked on him, his expression changed. Just as he was about to retreat, Lu Yiping pulled him in front of him. "Father, save me!" The patriarch of the black-white deity palace screamed at Zhuo Zhihui in horror. This ancestor was Zhuo Zhihui's son. Zhuo Zhihui was both shocked and enraged. He braced himself and was about to speak when Lu Yiping waved his hand. The patriarch of the black-white deity palace let out a miserable shriek as countless fragments of light flew out from his forehead. Everyone was dumbfounded when they saw the light fragments. "Are these memory fragments?" Su Dingfeng asked in shock. A person's memory was formless and intangible. This Che family expert could directly pull out a person's memory fragments from the soul sea and condense them into substance. They had never heard of such a method. Lu Yiping had been comprehending the fortune jade disc these days and had a deeper understanding of the Tao. He could now turn a person's memory into substance. In this way, he didn't need to search other people's souls. He could directly take out the memory fragments and read the useful ones. Soon, Lu Yiping found information about the Purple Extreme Demonic Clan's headquarters in the Eternal Star Field from the memory fragments. Lu Yiping casually flicked his finger and the ancestor turned into a bloody mist. Even his memory fragments dissipated between heaven and earth. Xin, Zhuo Zhihui was stunned for a moment and cried out in despair. Then, his eyes turned red and he roared like a madman, "Kill, kill!" 5 heavens' wills that were close to 200 miles long flew out at the same time. Suddenly, heaven and earth shook. A shocking pressure enveloped heaven and earth. Zhuo Zhihui suddenly punched at Lu Yiping with both fists. "Even if I die, I'll drag you down with me. Since we're going to die anyway, let's attack together." Following Zhuo Zhihui's words, Su Dingfeng also shouted angrily, "Everyone, attack!" Zhang Jilin also shouted to the 5 directions divine sects ancestors, "Attack!" Myriad God sects David and Profound Sun sects Yen Siming shouted at the same time, "Attack!" The other 3 super sects' strongest ancestors also roared and attacked. Instantly, to the 8 super sects more than 100 heavens mandate god kings and close to 1,011 totem ancient gods attacked. Boom! It blasted toward Lu Yiping with the power to destroy the heavens and destroy the world. They to the heavens, to deal with Taurus Longjiao first, to kill Lu Yu's group. And to deal to attack. To the end. When Zhuo Zhihui, Su Dingfeng, and more than 100 god kings of heaven's mandate attacked, nearly 1,011 totem ancient gods attacked, their terrifying power covered the sky and earth. The destructive power caused all the experts in the distance to pale. "Run!" Some of the god kings shouted to their subordinates. With more than 100 heavens mandate god kings attacking, Zhuo Zhihui, Su Dingfeng, Zhang Jilin, David, and Yen Siming were all 5 wills god kings. Even a 5 wills god king might die if they were hit. As for 4 wills and 3 wills god kings, they were dead for sure. Needless to say, those with 2 wills and 1 wills were even worse. Everyone fled in fear. As Zhuo Zhihui, Su Dingfeng, and the rest attacked, the space in front of Lu Yiping was shattered. In the blink of an eye, the terrifying power arrived in front of Lu Yiping. Zhuo Zhihui's face twisted. Even if this Che family's expert had 13 totems, even if his totems were amazing, he would be heavily injured if not killed by the combined attacks of more than 100 god kings and close to 1,011 totem ancient gods. However, just as Zhuo Zhihui, Su Dingfeng, and the rest's attacks arrived in front of Lu Yiping, everyone felt as if heaven and earth had quieted down. Even the wind seemed to have stopped blowing. In the next moment, everyone saw Lu Yiping's body emitting a dazzling light. Space trembled violently as if something terrifying was about to burst out. Zhuo Zhihui, Su Dingfeng, and the rest saw an incomparably large black shadow rising up. As this black shadow rose, darkness descended. When this black shadow rose up, it created shockwaves that actually caused Zhuo Zhihui and the rest's attacks to stagnate. Zhuo Zhihui, who had a ferocious expression, was dumbfounded when he saw this black shadow rise up. "So it's really this big?" Su Dingfeng muttered to himself. Subsequently, one after another, incomparably large black shadows soared into the sky with the momentum of bombarding the Jiutian. Soon, 13 totems hung above the Jiutian. Under the impact of the 13 totems, the destructive attacks of Zhuo Zhihui, Su Dingfeng, and the rest of the god kings and close to 1,011 totem ancient gods actually slowed down. The 13 totems towered above the Jiutian. There was no longer a sky, only 13 totems. As one of the Eternal Star Field's 100 sects, the Black-White Deity Palace's heritage spanned nearly 2 million years. Many of the Black-White Deity Palace's disciples had always thought that the Black-White Deity Palace was boundless, but when the 13 totems appeared above the Jiutian, they realized that the boundless Black-White Deity Palace was actually so small. It was like the difference between a giant dragon and an earthworm. Suddenly, the world shook violently as the 14th totem slowly rose into the air. Everyone's mind buzzed, and their jaws dropped. The 14th totem. There are actually 14 totems in this world? Zhuo Zhihui was dumbfounded. Su Dingfeng, David, and the rest of the god kings were dumbfounded. Experts from various forces were dumbfounded. According to the historical records, 13 totems was the limit. In the ancient times, when the Lord of Myriad Gods was an ancient god, he had only condensed 13 totems. In the ancient times, Lu Yiping's 49 totems were not recorded. Thus, the world only knew of the Lord of Myriad Gods' 13 totems. No one had ever heard of the existence of 14 totems in this world. Lu Yiping remained calm. The fact that he could comprehend the 49 totems was most likely related to the fortune jade disc. The 14 totems hung high in the air above the Jiutian. Under the impact of the 14 totems, Zhuo Zhihui, Su Dingfeng, and the others' attacks were halted. In the next moment, the 14 totems emitted a blinding light. Waves of energy poured down like a heavenly river, enveloping Zhuo Zhihui, Su Dingfeng, David, and the others. Zhuo Zhihui, Su Dingfeng, David, and the others felt despair when they saw the power of the 14 totems descending upon them. Black and white light. Zhuo Zhihui pushed his strength to the limit, even resorting to forbidden arts that consumed his vitality and life force. His 5 heavens' wills shone brightly as he attacked. Su Dingfeng, David, and the others also used forbidden arts that consumed their vitality and life force. But it was useless. Even if Zhuo Zhihui, Su Dingfeng, and the others used forbidden arts that consumed their vitality and life force, they couldn't stop the power of the 14 totems. Zhuo Zhihui, Su Dingfeng, and the others' attacks were like ants trying to shake a tree. The power of the 14 totems came crashing down. Boom! Zhuo Zhihui, Su Dingfeng, more than 100 god kings, and close to 1,011 totem ancient gods were sealed into the ground. Chapter 310. The dust continued for a long time, and the light continued to shine. The power of the 13 totems spread out in all directions. The ground around them crumbled, forming fissures. Endless earth energy spewed out from the depths of the earth. After a long time, when the dust settled, the light gradually stopped. Everyone looked over and saw that Zhuo Zhihui, Su Dingfeng, David, and the rest had all disappeared. To be more precise, it was completely blasted into blood and mixed together. As for Zhuo Zhihui, Su Dingfeng, and the rest, their totems had completely collapsed, returning to heaven and earth. Lu Yiping stood high in the sky like the sovereign of the heavens. Looking at the light blue figure standing under the 14 totems in the sky, other than shock, there was only shock in the hearts of the experts present. Some of them even knelt down in excitement. 14 totems, killing more than 100 god kings and close to 1,011 totem ancient gods in one strike. Such unimaginable power was enough to shake countless galaxies, enough to shock the ancients. It was enough to be recorded in the history of the gods and be praised for countless eras. Even Wan Litong and Sun Quan of the Scarlet Flame Chamber of Commerce were trembling. As an ancient god, he killed more than 100 god kings, including 5 god kings with 5 great god wills and dozens of god kings with 4 great god wills. No one had done it before, and no one would do it in the future. Lu Yiping swept his gaze over the experts present. All the experts lowered their heads and bowed. Even Wan Litong and Sun Quan lowered their heads. With just a glance, all the gods lowered their heads. The power of the 14 totems was still attacking White Feather Continent's several 100,000 cities and the continents around White Feather Continent. Violent waves rose and fell on the continents, reaching thousands of zhang high. It felt like millions of years had passed. When everyone raised their heads cautiously, they saw that Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao had already left. The light blue figure and the blonde figure gradually disappeared into the horizon. Only when Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao's figures completely disappeared did the crowd dare to straighten their backs and raise their heads. They looked at the ruins, the rain of blood, and the flattened mountain peak. For a long time, no one spoke. The rain of blood was still falling from the sky. Before watching the battle, the black-white palace was majestic, with verdant mountains, countless spirit beasts, and waterfalls. It was like a paradise on earth. But now, the mountains were completely flattened and collapsed. There were palace fragments everywhere, and the terrifying power of the 14 totems still pervaded the black-white palace. The black-white divine palace is finished. A patriarch of a super sect sighed. Although the black-white deity palace still had ancient god experts, God King Tianming and the other 11 totems had been annihilated. What was left of the black and white divine palace were only some remnant soldiers and weak generals, and had completely fallen from the numerous sects. It's not just the black-white divine palace. There's also the Su family, the myriad god sect, the 5-direction divine sects, and the profound sun divine sect. Another super sect's patriarch shook his head. There were countless super sects in the eternal ancient star field, but only 100 of them were the strongest. But in this battle, the 5 super forces all fell out of the 100 sects and 100 families. Because the black-white deity palace, the Su family, the myriad deities sect, the 5 deities sects, and the profound sun sect wanted to fight against one person. Do you guys think that this Sir Che clan has 15 totems? An expert suddenly asked in a weak voice. 15 totems. Everyone's hearts trembled when they heard this. Some wanted to say that it was impossible for there to be 15 totems in the world, but they couldn't bring themselves to say it. 15 totems? Someone muttered. If there really were 15 totems, then it would be enough to shock the entire star field. If the 14 totems were already so strong, how strong would the 15 totems be? Would they be able to kill a god king with 7 wills? Or even a god king with 8 wills? No one dared to imagine it. In the Ionic Divine Palace, Sikong Yifei listened to Commander Tao Jiong's report for a long time. 14 totems have appeared. All the god kings of the Black and White Divine Palace, the Su clan, Myriad God sect, Pentapath Divine sects, and Profound Sun sect have been annihilated. Nearly 1,011 totem ancient gods have fallen. Just one attack. Sikong Yifei found it hard to believe. Tao Jiong hesitated. Everyone is saying that this generation's heavens will belongs to this person. Our Lord is at the peak of 10 wills. If he meets this Che clan expert in the fight for the heaven's will, won't he? At this point, he stopped. If the Ionic Divine Palace's Lord wanted to compete for the heaven's will, he would definitely meet this Che clan expert. Sikong Yifei frowned. Tao Jiong said carefully, how about you wait for the next generation's heaven's will to appear? Sikong Yifei's eyes turned cold as he glanced at Tao Jiong. Tao Jiong's heart tightened. You mean to say that my father, the strongest in the Ionic starfield, should give way to this Che clan expert? Sikong Yifei said coldly, you think my father isn't a match for an ancient god? Tao Jiong's heart tightened. That's not what this subordinate meant. I just think that there's no need to offend a 14-totem ancient god for the sake of one heaven's will. Once this person merges with the heaven's will, he'll be able to sweep through the lower realms. He has 14 totems, so he's definitely not a match for our Lord. However, some people think that he might have 15 totems. 15 totems. Sikong Yifei's heart sank. 15 totems, huh? He said solemnly, so what if he has 15 totems? In this generation, my father will definitely compete for the heaven's will. He's already at the peak of the late stage 10 heaven's will. Once he merges with 11 heaven's wills, he'll be able to sweep through the lower realms. In this generation, no matter who it is, my Ionic Divine Palace will annihilate them if they want to compete for the heaven's will. News of the battle at the Black-White Deity Palace quickly reached the ears of the various superpowers in the Boundless Plain. Then, it spread to the surrounding plains. In the end, the entire Ionic starfield learned of the battle. The Sky Vault Palace, Cold Solitude Sect, Divine Dragon Valley, Golden Buddha Temple, Ing family, Changsun clan, and the rest of the 100 sects and clans fell silent when they heard the news. The experts on the sovereign leaderboard were equally silent. Although the Black-White Deity Palace, Myriad God Sect, Profound Sun Divine Sect, and Five Directions Divine Sects didn't have high rankings among the 100 sects, the fact that the Che clan expert could kill more than 100 godly monarchs and close to 1,000 ancient gods with 11 totems was enough to prove his strength. Zhuo Zhihui, Su Dingfeng, Dai Wei, Zhang Jilin, and Yan Siming were all godly monarchs with 5 heavens will. Now that Lu Yiping had killed 5 of them in one go, everyone was discussing how high Lu Yiping's ranking would be. At the same time, there were also people guessing how many totems Taurus Longjiao had by Lu Yiping's side. Taurus Longjiao destroyed the Black-White Deity Palace's protective formation with one strike. Some said that his strength wasn't any weaker than Lu Yiping's. In Ziwei City, Che Suping, Che Xiaoning, and the others also heard about the battle at the Black-White Deity Palace. Chapter 311. There were several tens of thousands of plains in the Eternal Star Field. The Purple Thunder Plain was the northernmost plain in the Eternal Star Field. It was also the most dangerous plain in the Eternal Star Field. This was because the Purple Thunder Plain was shrouded in purple lightning all year round. This purple lightning was extremely powerful. The closer one was to the center of the Purple Thunder Plain, the denser and more powerful the purple lightning. Even many ancient gods would find it difficult to approach the center of the Purple Thunder Plain. Therefore, there were very few people in the Purple Thunder Plain. On this day, in the sky above the Purple Thunder Plain, a light flashed, and a light blue figure and a golden figure appeared. They were Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao, who had just left the boundless plain. Lu Yiping learned from Zhuo Zhihui's son's memory fragments that the Purple Extreme Devil Sect's headquarters in the lower realm was in the Purple Thunder Plain. Although he didn't know the exact location, it was enough for Lu Yiping to know that it was in the Purple Thunder Plain. Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao flew forward. As they flew forward, they kept an eye on the changes in the Purple Thunder Plain. Now, his Purple Thunder Plain had grown to more than 4,800 meters, and his sensing range had reached an astonishing level. At the same time, Lu Yiping released his divine sense. However, the Purple Thunder Plain was shrouded in endless purple lightning. Therefore, his divine sense was affected. Night fell. Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao arrived at a small valley. They started a bonfire in the valley, drinking wine and eating meat. It seems like the Purple Extreme Devil Sect's headquarters in the lower realm should be in the center. Taurus Longjiao said. After a day of searching, the two of them had determined that the Purple Extreme Devil Sect's headquarters was in the center and east of the Purple Thunder Plain. Lu Yiping nodded. Tomorrow, we will go directly to the center. He then added, hopefully, there will be experts from the Dark Borer race. The Purple Extreme Devil Sect was just a small fry. The real boss was the Dark Borer race. The bonfire lit up the valley. The fragrance of wine filled the air. Just as Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao were drinking the eternal wine, the sound of wind whistling came from the distance. This is Purple Extreme Demonic Qi. Lu Yiping could sense the Purple Extreme Demonic Qi coming from the newcomers. Immediately, he and Taurus Longjiao shot into the air. Soon, they saw the 6 Purple Extreme Demonic Clan experts. Lu Yiping did not waste any time. He immediately pulled the 6 of them in front of him. Then, he retrieved their memory fragments and flipped through them. Soon, Lu Yiping finished looking through the 6 people's memory fragments, and a bolt of chaos lightning blasted the 6 people into dust. Let's go to Thunder Waterfall. Lu Yiping said. From the memory fragments, he learned that the headquarters of the Purple Extreme Demon Clan was not located in the central region of the Purple Thunder Plain. Instead, it was located in the easternmost region of the Purple Thunder Plain, at a place called Thunder Waterfall. Immediately, Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao rushed to the eastern part of the Purple Thunder Plain. Not long after, Lu Yiping arrived at the easternmost part of the Purple Lightning Plain. In front of him was a huge mountain range. Lightning energy rolled within the mountain range. The places where the lightning energy was the densest formed a waterfall, crashing down from the mountains. The formations here aren't weak, Taurus Longjiao said as he looked at the huge mountain range with lightning energy rolling in front of him. The Thunder Waterfall mountain range that stretched as far as the eye could see didn't seem to have much on the surface. However, there were layers upon layers of formations. There were no less than 100 formations. Moreover, all of them were extremely powerful formations from ancient times. Not to mention ancient gods, even many divine kings would be killed in an instant if they rashly entered. After arriving here, the foundation tree inside Lu Yiping's body vibrated incessantly. Moreover, the vibrations were unprecedentedly violent. Lu Yiping could feel the foundation tree's excitement. Clearly, there were many foundation tree chunks here. Under the coverage of Lu Yiping's divine sense, he quickly discovered that there was a huge space under the Thunder Waterfall mountain range. Within this space, several 100,000 Purple Extreme Demon Clan experts were moving about. Some were cultivating, some were exchanging pointers, some were studying formations, some were refining pills, and some were leisurely sipping tea and drinking wine. Indifferent smile appeared on Lu Yiping's face. The cauldron of heaven and earth appeared in his hand. The moment the cauldron of heaven and earth appeared, it expanded countless times, turning into a giant cauldron that could hold up the sky. It was even bigger than the Thunder Waterfall mountain range in front of him. Under Lu Yiping's urging, the cauldron of heaven and earth's great formation emitted a terrifying light. At this moment, the several 100,000 Purple Extreme Demon Clan experts all felt the cauldron of heaven and earth's monstrous might. The Purple Extreme Demon Clan experts were shocked. They all opened their heavenly eyes to see what was going on. The moment they opened their heavenly eyes, they saw a terrifying cauldron crashing down. "Run!" A Purple Extreme Demon Clan leader roared. As soon as he finished speaking, a loud explosion shook the sky. Immediately after, the entire mountain range exploded. Several 100,000 Purple Extreme Demon Clan experts had just flown up when they were all suppressed by the explosion. Following the explosion, the Thunder Waterfall in the mountain range splashed out thousands of miles. The endless lightning that originally shrouded the mountain range disappeared. The destructive power lingered on for a long time. Lu Yiping withdrew the cauldron of heaven and earth. After a long while, when the dust settled, he and Taurus Longjiao stepped through the air and arrived at the Purple Extreme Demon Clan's underground world. Just like before, Lu Yiping left the strongest Purple Extreme Demon Clan leader alive and did not kill him. Lu Yiping walked toward the other party. The strongest Purple Extreme Demon Clan leader here was extremely young. He looked like he was only in his 20s, just like Lu Yiping. He lay there, looking at Lu Yiping walking over with fear. "Who are you?" He spoke with difficulty. "The Venerable One of the Ancient Era." Lu Yiping's expression was indifferent. "What, you, the Venerable One of the Ancient Era?" The Purple Extreme Demon Clan leader's body shook in disbelief. Lu Yiping was not surprised by the other party's reaction. Walking up to the other party, Lu Yiping extracted the other party's memory fragments and began to flip through them. After a while, Lu Yiping's brows furrowed. This person was not the Purple Extreme Demon Clan's supreme leader in the lower realm. The supreme leader had been summoned by the Dark Borer race's experts and left the Eternal Star Field several months ago. Lu Yiping was somewhat disappointed to learn that this person was not the Purple Extreme Demon Clan's supreme leader in the lower realm. After killing the other party, Lu Yiping arranged an illusory formation around the mountain range. From the outside, everything looked normal. Soon, Lu Yiping found the door to the treasury. When Lu Yiping pushed open the door, he saw a vast starry sky inside the treasury. Floating in the starry sky were continents. The continents were filled with all kinds of spirit herbs, spirit stones, natural treasures, and rare playthings. The Purple Extreme Demon clan had collected a lot of treasures over the years. However, Lu Yiping ignored these things and flew into the depths of the starry sky. Finally, he arrived above a continent in the depths of the starry sky. He saw that this continent was full of builder tree chunks. These builder tree chunks filled the entire continent. Moreover, the Purple Extreme Demon clan had already divided these tree chunks. Those that were less than 1 meter were piled into a mountain, while those that were less than 10 meters were piled together. Lu Yiping even saw a tree chunk that was several hundred meters tall. Awesome, class. Taurus Longjiao looked at the builder tree chunks in front of him and grinned. Chapter 312. Even Lu Yiping couldn't help but feel happy when he saw the entire land of tree chunks. The Purple Extreme Demon race's headquarters in the lower realm had so many tree chunks that it exceeded his expectations. With so many tree chunks, his creation tree would definitely grow to an astonishing level. Immediately, Lu Yiping sat cross-legged in the air above the land and began to use the creation tree to fuse with these tree chunks. Lu Yiping first fused with the tree chunks under 1 meter. There were a lot of tree chunks under 1 meter, as many as hundreds of mountains. As Lu Yiping continued to fuse, the 4,800-meter creation tree began to grow again. Finally, the creation tree broke through 5,000 meters, 6,000 meters, 7,000 meters. When Lu Yiping finished fusing with all the tree chunks under 1 meter, the creation tree broke through to 10,000 meters. The creation tree's leaves became even more luxuriant, and the 6th level of the Immortal Heaven technique finally appeared. However, after breaking through to 10,000 meters, the growth of the creation tree slowed down a lot. Then, Lu Yiping began to fuse with the tree chunks under 10 meters. Most of them were under 10 meters, and there were more than 1 meter. When the creation tree fused with all the tree chunks under 10 meters, its growth was astonishing, and it broke through to 46,000 meters. Then, Lu Yiping fused with the tree chunks under 100 meters. There were also many tree chunks under 100 meters. The creation tree broke through to 60,000 meters. Finally, Lu Yiping fused with the tree chunks above 100 meters. When Lu Yiping finished fusing with all the tree chunks of the creation tree finally broke through to 70,000 meters. As the creation tree continued to grow, the 7th and 8th levels of the Immortal Heavenwood technique also appeared one by one. However, the 9th level still couldn't appear. The creation tree that had grown to 70,000 meters was already terrifyingly huge, and its trunk was dozens of miles thick. Standing under the creation tree, one couldn't see what the top looked like. The entire creation tree was filled with chaotic aura. Even the purple gold gourd couldn't keep up with the speed of its production. Even Taurus Longjiao was amazed standing under the creation tree. Anyone who saw the creation tree now would be shocked. Moreover, Lu Yiping discovered that the chaotic aura of the creation tree was beginning to change. It began to emit a faint black and yellow color. Black, so black that it was deep. Yellow, a brilliant yellow. Looks like if it continues to grow, Jianshu's chaos qi will transform into Xianhuang qi. Taurus Longjiao was pleasantly surprised when he saw the changes in the chaos qi. The Xianhuang qi was more ancient and stronger than the primal chaos qi. The primal chaos qi had no effect on Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao, but the Xianhuang qi was different. If the two of them could continuously absorb the black and yellow qi to cultivate, their cultivation speed would definitely increase again. When it grows to 100,000 meters, it should be able to produce Xianhuang qi, Lu Yiping said. Of course, it could only transform into Xianhuang qi. Not all of the chaos qi could transform into Xianhuang qi. 100,000 meters. That will take years. The dragon horn golden bull shook its head. Even though it was already 70,000 meters tall, its growth was becoming slower and slower. It would most likely only be able to reach 100,000 meters after fusing with another continent. However, where were they going to find so many building tree blocks? Lu Yiping smiled and said, "It'll be done soon." He knew from the memory fragments of the second leader of the Purple Extreme Demon Clan that the Purple Extreme Demon Clan would send building tree blocks to the Inba clan every few years. Therefore, there were more building tree blocks in the Inba clan's headquarters. As long as the highest leader of the Purple Extreme Demon Clan in the lower realm returned, he would be able to find the Inba clan's headquarters. After fusing all the building tree blocks, Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao sat cross-legged under the building tree and began to comprehend the 6th, 7th, and 8th levels of the Immortal Skywood technique. At the same time, they waited for the first leader of the Purple Extreme Demon Clan to return. However, a few years had passed. The first leader of the Purple Extreme Demon Clan still had not returned. In these few years, not only had Lu Yiping comprehended the 6th, 7th, and 8th levels of the Immortal Skywood technique, but he had also comprehended a lot of the great Daos in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th creation jade discs. His art of longevity had also improved a lot. Seeing that the first leader of the Purple Extreme Demon Clan still had not returned, Lu Yiping had no choice but to leave the Purple Extreme Demon Clan's headquarters with Taurus Longjiao. If the other party did not return for hundreds of years, he could not just stay here and do nothing. Moreover, the birth of the mandate of heaven in this life was imminent. However, before leaving, Lu Yiping took away all the treasures in the other party's treasury. Although Lu Yiping had the cauldron of heaven and earth, which allowed him to collect extremely fast, there were simply too many treasures in the treasury of the Purple Extreme Demon Clan. It took Lu Yiping an entire day to collect everything. After collecting all the treasures in the treasury, Lu Yiping set up a large formation. As long as the first leader of the Purple Extreme Demon Clan returned, he would be able to sense it. After leaving the Purple Thunder Realm, Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao returned to the Boundless Realm and went to the headquarters of the Red Flame Chamber of Commerce. In the past few years in the Purple Thunder Realm, he had received several messages from Wan Litong, saying that he could not find any tree blocks and stones. Wan Litong and Sun Quan were receiving the Divine Dragon Valley's old ancestor Ao Yuding in the headquarters inner hall when someone came in to report that a Master Lu wanted to see him for tree blocks and stones. Wan Litong and Sun Quan jumped in fright. Others might not know who this Master Lu was, but how could they not know? Wan Litong quickly got up, cupping his fists at Ao Yuding and apologizing. Then, he and Sun Quan rushed out of the hall. Seeing this, the Divine Dragon Valley's old ancestor Ao Yuding was dumbfounded. Out of curiosity, he followed Wan Litong and Sun Quan out. When they came out, Ao Yuding saw that Wan Litong and Sun Quan were receiving a blue-robed young man and a golden retriever man. Ao Yuding was puzzled. "Lord Lu," Wan Litong said, "in the past few years, the tree blocks and stones our Chamber of Commerce has found are all here." With both hands, he presented a spatial artifact to Lu Yiping in a reserved manner. Lu Yiping received the spatial artifact and opened it. Inside the spatial artifact were quite a number of tree blocks and Buzhou mountain stones. There were several thousand tree blocks, and even more Buzhou mountain stones, 20 to 30,000 pieces. This greatly surprised Lu Yiping. He didn't expect the Red Flame Chamber of Commerce to find so many tree blocks and Buzhou mountain stones in the past few years. Lu Yiping calculated for a moment, then handed over a bucket of Chaos Star water to Wan Litong. Wan Litong refused for a moment, then accepted it. "President Wan Litong, which sect does this brother belong to?" Ao Yuding couldn't resist asking when he saw Lu Yiping easily take out a bucket of Chaos Star water. Wan Litong looked at Lu Yiping, not knowing how to introduce him. "Lu Yiping, no sect," Lu Yiping said. Ao Yuding was shocked. "You're Ziwei City's Lord Lu." After the battle between Ziwei City and Black-White Deity Palace, Lu Yiping had gained many more titles. Lu Yiping's real name was also known by everyone. Ao Yuding didn't expect the blue-robed young man in front of him to be Lu Yiping, who killed more than 100 deity kings with a single strike of 14 totems. Lu Yiping turned to ask Wan Litong, President Wan Litong, is there any news about the jade disc I asked you to look for? Wan Litong hesitated for a moment, then said, we found a piece, but it's a bit difficult to obtain. Chapter 313. Difficult to obtain? Lu Yiping asked Wan Litong. Wan Litong nodded. According to our investigation, the patriarch of the House of Shadowblight, Xiao Sheng, bought the jade disc you mentioned at an auction several hundred years ago. Oh, the 36th ranked patriarch of Shadowblight? Taurus Longjiao asked. Yes. Wan Litong said, according to our investigation, Xiao Sheng is currently cultivating in the poison continent of the Deep South Plain. As for where exactly he is, we can't find out. The Deep South Plain, the poison continent, Lu Yiping muttered. Wan Litong said, yes. The poison continent is shrouded in countless poisons, including the poison of primal chaos. In some central regions, there are poisons even more terrifying than the poison of primal chaos. There are countless poisonous creatures, and unless one is a poison expert, it would be difficult to even take a single step. Furthermore, Xiao Sheng has hidden himself, so no one can find him. In a place like the toxic continent, it would be extremely difficult for others to find an ordinary god king of destiny hiding there, let alone an existence like Xiao Sheng who was ranked 36th on the sovereign ranking. Apart from this jade disc, is there any other news? Lu Yiping asked. The poison continent might be difficult for others, but it wasn't a problem for Lu Yiping. He had the fortune jade disc. As long as Xiao Sheng was hiding in the poison continent, it wouldn't be difficult to find him. Wan Litong shook his head. For now, we only have this information. Lu Yiping nodded. Although it was just information, Lu Yiping still gave the Scarlet Flame Merchant Guild 5 buckets of Star Chaos water. Back then, Lu Yiping had said that if the Scarlet Flame Merchant Guild helped him find a fortune jade disc, he would give them 10 buckets of Star Chaos water. Wan Litong didn't dare to accept it, but Lu Yiping insisted, so he accepted it. Soon after, Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao left the Scarlet Flame Merchant Guild's headquarters. Before leaving, Lu Yiping asked the Scarlet Flame Merchant Guild to help him inquire about the jade disc, stone, and tree block. Wan Litong, Sun Quan, and the others escorted Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao out of the city. Only after Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao's figures had disappeared for a long time did Wan Litong, Sun Quan, and Ao Yuding retract their gazes. I didn't expect him to be Lord Lu Yiping. Ao Yuding wiped his forehead, which was covered in cold sweat. Though he was a 7-will divine king, he was still nervous when facing Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao. Now, everyone is saying that Lord Lu Yiping might have 15 totems. When the time comes, he will compete for the heavens will. Ao Yuding sighed. The birth of the heavens will in this generation is destined to cause rivers of blood. Wan Litong's interest waned. In this generation, our Scarlet Flame Merchant Guild won't participate. Ao Yuding was stunned. The Scarlet Flame Merchant Guild was the #1 merchant guild in the Eternal Star Field. In the past, they would compete for the heavens will every time. But this time, they were withdrawing. Just because of this Lu Yiping. Ao Yuding's eyes flickered. Several days later, Lu Yiping and Ao Yuding arrived at the Deep South World. The Purple Lightning Plain was the northernmost part of the Eternal Star Field, and the Deep South World was the southernmost part. However, the Deep South World wasn't as desolate as the Purple Lightning Plain. It was still quite lively. After identifying the direction, Lu Yiping and Ao Yuding headed towards the Toxic Continent. Soon, they arrived at the Toxic Continent. The Toxic Continent was one of the most dangerous places in the Deep South World. It was filled with poisonous creatures. Even the Lord of the Toxic Continent didn't dare to enter. Even the Master of the Toxic Continent only dared to stay at the periphery. Lu Yiping and Ao Yuding didn't raise any defenses. They directly broke through the poisonous miasma and entered the toxic continent. After entering, Lu Yiping sensed the changes in the good fortune jade disc. In the past, he only had one good fortune jade disc, so his sensing range wasn't large. But now, he had 5 good fortune jade discs, so his sensing range had greatly increased. However, other than sensing the changes in the good fortune jade disc, Lu Yiping also opened the eye of lightning punishment. At this time, in a certain primitive forest on the toxic continent, shadow poison ancestor Shao Sheng was holding a jade disc in his hand. He frowned and muttered to himself, "What kind of secret is this jade disc hiding?" Several hundred years ago, he had bought this jade disc with a shocking amount of spirit stones. Ever since he arrived on the toxic continent, he had been studying this jade disc. The more he studied it, the more he felt that this jade disc wasn't simple. But no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't figure out the true secret of this jade disc. He even tried slashing the jade disc with his divine saber, but the jade disc wasn't damaged at all. Even if he used his full strength to slash the jade disc, the result was the same. Even if he burned it with divine fire or struck it with divine lightning, the jade disc didn't change. He also tried to use his divine sense to penetrate the jade disc, but to no avail. According to his guess, this jade disc must contain some kind of heaven-shaking secret art, but the jade disc didn't change in the slightest. Right at this time, the good fortune jade disc in Shao Sheng's hand suddenly lit up. Shao Sheng was stunned. For several hundred years, this jade disc hadn't changed at all. But now, it suddenly lit up. Shao Sheng thought he was seeing things, but in the next moment, the jade disc in his hand lit up again, and this time, it was even brighter. Then, the jade disc's light grew brighter, illuminating the surroundings. This primitive forest was shrouded in poisonous gas all year round, making it as dark as night. But now, under the jade disc's light, the surroundings were as bright as day. Shao Sheng was pleasantly surprised as he looked at the jade disc in his hand. At this time, he suddenly saw 2 figures approaching from the horizon. As these 2 figures approached, the jade disc in his hand grew brighter. Seeing this, Shao Sheng was bewildered. Did these 2 people have something on them that caused the jade disc in his hand to change? He got up and soared into the air, arriving above the primitive forest. These 2 people were none other than Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao. In the blink of an eye, Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao arrived in front of Shao Sheng. Lu Yiping's gaze fell on the jade disc in Shao Sheng's hand. Seeing Lu Yiping's expression, Shao Sheng said, "It seems you recognize the jade disc in my hand." "That's right," Lu Yiping said indifferently, "I came here specifically for the jade disc in your hand." Shao Sheng looked at Lu Yiping from head to toe with doubt in his eyes. Since these 2 people came for the jade disc in his hand, they obviously knew his identity. But why did they still dare to come looking for him? Shao Sheng was ranked 36th on the sovereign list. He recognized all the people ranked above him, but these 2 obviously weren't. Shao Sheng had cultivated on the toxic continent for several hundred years and had never left this primitive forest. Therefore, he didn't know about the recent battle between the Black-White Deity Palace and the Black-White Deity Palace. Although this jade disc is extraordinary, you can't comprehend its mysteries. In your hands, it's just a piece of trash. Lu Yiping said, "You spent 300 billion heaven-grade spirit stones to buy this jade disc. I'm willing to buy it for 10 times the price." 10 times? Shao Sheng's eyes flickered. No one knew what he was thinking. "That's right, 10 times, Lu Yiping said. At this time, an invisible and odorless poison spread out from Shao Sheng's body, enveloping the surroundings and seeping into Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao's bodies. This poison was extremely powerful. Even if someone in the top 10 of the sovereign list accidentally got poisoned, it would be difficult to expel it. Chapter 314. Indifferent smile appeared on Shaoxing's face as he watched his poison seep into Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao's bodies. His shadowless poison was formed after he had cultivated the shadowless poison scripture of an ancient poison ancestor more than 2 million years ago and swallowed all kinds of poisonous gases. It was useless no matter how strong they were after being struck by his shadowless poison. Taurus Longjiao chuckled at Shaoxing's sneer, "You're too smart for your own good. We didn't have to kill you, but you're the one courting death now. Is that so?" Shaoxing was taken aback. However, his smile froze in the next moment. Light surged from Lu Yiping's body as his shadowless poison seeped out from Lu Yiping's body. "You?" Shaoxing was shocked. "It's just shadowless poison," Taurus Longjiao said. "Do you know how forefather Shadowless died back then?" "Who are you?" Shaoxing retreated in shock. At the same time, he channeled all the divine energy in his body. One heaven's will after another flew out, each one spanning 300 miles. Moreover, there were 8 of them. Earlier, Zhuozhihui of the Black-White Deity Palace only had 5 heaven's wills, each spanning 200 miles. Indifferent smile appeared on Taurus Longjiao's face when he saw Shaoxing's 8 heaven's wills. Golden light erupted from his body as the world trembled. At first, it was only the primordial forest that was trembling. Then, the tremors spread to the surroundings at a terrifying speed. Soon, the entire toxic continent was shaking. It was as if something terrifying was about to come into being. Shaoxing was alarmed. However, he had never seen Lu Yiping's totem before, so he didn't think too much about it. Then, Shaoxing saw a scene that he would never forget for the rest of his life. He saw a totem that looked like a sun, emitting raging golden flames, fly through the air. Although it wasn't as big as Lu Yiping's totem, it was still tens of thousands of miles wide. The totem that spanned 10,000 miles slowly rose into the air. The God world's laws also flickered with golden flames. Every law of the God world was like a golden dragon with 9 claws. Lu Yiping's totems each contained 100 million God realm laws, but Taurus Longjiao's totems contained 20 million. Then, the second totem, the third totem, and the fourth totem flew out. 13 totems stood tall in the sky. 13 totems. Shaoxing was shocked. Just when Shaoxing thought that it was over, Taurus Longjiao's body glowed brightly, and another totem flew out. This totem was different from the previous 13 totems. The previous 13 totems emitted golden flames, while this totem radiated with lightning. Similarly, it was tens of thousands of miles wide, and there were also 20 million strands of divine world law. However, instead of golden flames, each strand of divine world law was surrounded by layers of lightning, and there was a faint shadow of the lightning god. 14 totems. Shaoxing found this hard to believe. But then, the 15th and 16th totems flew out one after another. 16. Shaoxing's mind went blank. But it wasn't over yet. The 17th totem flew out. 13 golden dragon totems and 4 lightning god totems hung in the sky above the Jiutian. The 17 totems' power was boundless, and terrifying waves of energy spread out, covering the primeval forest in front of Shaoxing, the surrounding mountains, and lakes. Under the pressure of Taurus Longjiao's 17 totems, Shaoxing, who was an 8 wills god king, felt suffocated. Shaoxing looked at Taurus Longjiao in fear. In this world, there was actually someone who could condense 17 totems. It was no wonder Shaoxing was so frightened and shocked. During the battle at the Black-White Deity Palace, Lu Yiping's 14 totems had already shocked the world, and now, Taurus Longjiao's 17 totems, it was normal for Shaoxing to feel fear. Taurus Longjiao snorted coldly, and his voice was like a clap of thunder, shaking the air. Then, Taurus Longjiao punched out. The 17 totems shone brightly, and their power merged with Taurus Longjiao's fist. Boom! Taurus Longjiao's fist blasted apart the poisonous fog in the primeval forest. Towering ancient trees were lifted up and turned to dust. Terrifying golden flames and lightning streaked across the sky, arriving in front of Xiao Sheng. Xiao Sheng retreated in fear and roared in anger. He madly activated the power of his 8 wills, trying to block Taurus Longjiao's fist. However, his 8 wills' power was instantly shattered by Taurus Longjiao. Next, Xiao Sheng was struck by the golden flames and lightning fist, and he was blasted away at a terrifying speed. After sending Xiao Sheng flying, the golden flames and lightning fist continued to push forward, blasting out of the primeval forest and finally landing on a mountain peak. The mountain peak turned into dust and flew into the sky. Golden flames and lightning swirled, spreading everywhere. After a long time, the dust settled. A path of several thousand miles was plowed through the forest, extending all the way to the end. It was as if a large piece of the forest had disappeared. After the dust settled, Lu Yiping took a step forward and arrived at the end of the primeval forest. He saw Xiao Sheng lying there like a charred corpse, barely breathing. His 8 wills had already exploded. The good fortune jade disc was not far away. Lu Yiping waved his hand and sucked the good fortune jade disc into his hand. Xiao Sheng looked at Taurus Longjiao and suddenly grinned. 17 totems, I actually died at the hands of a 17-totem ancient god. A god monarch with 8 wills had died at the hands of an ancient god. Was this mockery? However, he had died at the hands of a 17-totem ancient god, so this could be considered a special honor. Just how many totems do you have? Xiao Sheng asked Taurus Longjiao. Before dying, he wanted to know how many totems this golden-haired man had. He felt that 17 totems was definitely not the opponent's limit. However, before Taurus Longjiao could answer, his eyes gradually dimmed and his vitality completely dissipated. 36th on the sovereign rankings had fallen. Moreover, no one knew about this. Taurus Longjiao saw a spatial item in the distance. He grabbed it and opened it. There were many spirit stones, spirit medicines, and divine pills inside, all of them belonging to Xiao Sheng. A book emitting a poisonous aura attracted Taurus Longjiao's attention. Taurus Longjiao took it out and saw the words, Shadowless Poison Scripture, written on it. However, the dragon horn golden bull lost interest after looking at it for a while. What was this shadowless poison scripture? After cultivating it, the shadowless poison chi would be invisible, odorless, and not weak. However, it would require continuous consumption of poison to cultivate. Let's go. Lu Yiping said and flew into the air with Taurus Longjiao. Not long after Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao left the forest, several figures appeared in the sky above. They wore black robes with the image of a demon. They were the experts of the demon god sect, one of the many sections. There was only 100 sects in the deep south plain, and that was the demon god sect. When the experts of the demon god sect arrived in the air above the primeval forest, they were all shocked and they saw the thousands of miles wide primeval forest that stretched to the end of the forest. There seems to be a corpse there. One of them pointed at the end of the forest. Chapter 3:15. Let's go take a look, said Yin Lin with a solemn expression. The 7 of them tore through the air and arrived at the end of the primeval forest. They saw the corpse that had been burned beyond recognition by the golden flames and lightning. It looked like charcoal. The 7 of them were shocked and they sensed the remnant energy of the golden flames and lightning around the corpse. The demon god sect's ancestor Hu Yi, ranked 98th on the sovereign leaderboard, turned to look at the empty path that stretched for thousands of li. His mouth went dry as he said, this person must have been blasted here from the forest. This path must have been flattened by the other party's fist. Although everyone had their own guesses, they still found it hard to believe. With such power, could it be a 9 wills god king? Yin Lin carefully guessed. Everyone was shocked when they heard this. Hu Yi's expression turned grave. It should be a 9 wills god king. Only a godly monarch with 9 wills could possess such terrifying destructive power. Who is this person? Asked one of the demon god sex experts. Everyone's attention returned to the charred corpse. Because the corpse was completely charred, they couldn't determine its identity. Hui observed for a while, but he couldn't find anything. Suddenly, he saw a small fragment in the distance and picked it up. Is this a token fragment? Asked Lin. It should be. Everyone, look around and see if there are any more, said Hui. There are a few more here. There are some here as well. After searching for a while, they found a dozen or so token fragments and pieced them together. Although there was still a small piece that hadn't been found, when they pieced it together, everyone could clearly see what the token looked like and the words on it. Everyone read out, Xiao Sheng. Xiao Sheng. The others didn't know what it was, but Hui was shocked. Forefather Shadow Poison, Xiao Sheng. What? Xiao Sheng. He's the 36th on the sovereign leaderboard. Lin and the others trembled in disbelief. It should be the forefather Shadow Poison. Hui said solemnly, I heard that he's been cultivating in our deep South Plains hypertoxic continent since several hundred years ago. After saying those words, Zhang Xian walked back to the corpse, and with a wave of his hand, he extracted the poison aura from the corpse. Because Patriarch Shadowblight had cultivated poison arts, even in death, his corpse was still filled with poison. The only person who could cultivate such a toxic aura is most likely forefather Shadowblight, Xiao Sheng. Hui sighed. Who would have thought that forefather Shadowblight would die here? Who killed Patriarch Shadowblight? Could it be that the flame ancestor, Pang Fei, who ranks 9th on the sovereign leaderboard? Lin mused. Hui shook her head. I don't think so. Flame ancestor Pang Fei's fire attribute cultivation technique doesn't have the power of lightning. The group stayed for a while and walked around the area. They didn't find anything useful, so they left. As for Patriarch Shadowblight's corpse, no one paid it any mind. This time, demon god Zhongzhong's people had entered the toxic continent mainly to search for a highly poisonous creature, the golden light rat. 2 days later, demon god Zhongzhong's men finally discovered the golden light rat. However, the golden light rat was extremely fast and poisonous, so capturing it was extremely difficult. The 7 of them chased after the golden light rat. In the end, the golden light rat hid in a valley. After entering the valley, the 7 of them were surprised to see someone roasting meat and drinking wine over a bonfire. The fragrance of wine permeated the air, and the flames danced, clearing the poisonous aura in the area. The 7 of them looked at the blue-robed young man and the burly golden retriever man sitting beside the bonfire and exchanged glances. One of the demon god sex experts said, 2 friends, we've tracked a golden light rat to this place. I wonder if you two have seen it. The 2 people sitting by the bonfire were none other than Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao. After killing forefather Shadowblight, they didn't leave the toxic continent immediately. Instead, they stayed for 2 days to refine the 6th fortune jade disc. Taurus Longjiao didn't even look at the other party. I didn't see it. You didn't see it? The other demon god sex expert's face sank. We clearly saw the golden light rat hiding in this valley. You say you didn't see it? Taurus Longjiao raised his head and looked at the demon god sex brocade robe. He chuckled, so what if I saw it? You dare to play with us? The demon god sex expert's eyes turned cold. At this moment, Hui stretched out his hand and stopped the demon god sex expert. He then cupped his fists at the dragon horn golden bull and said, Brother, I'm Hui. My subordinate didn't know any better. Please forgive him. That golden light rat is very important to our demon god sect. Just as Hui's words fell, a golden shadow leaped out from the valley and landed on Lu Yiping's shoulder. This golden shadow was none other than the golden light rat. The palm-sized golden light rat landed on Lu Yiping's shoulder and stroked its fur lazily, looking adorable. Golden light rat. Lin and the others were delighted. One of the demon god sex experts couldn't resist leaping up, grabbing Lu Yiping's shoulder. Just as the demon god sex expert was about to grab Lu Yiping, he froze in midair, just like that. Hu Yi, Yin Lin, and the others were dumbfounded. All 6 of them turned to look at Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao. Hu Yi's expression turned solemn. Was this time and space freezing? However, he didn't see the 2 of them making a move. Then, he looked at the golden light rat on the blue-robed young man's shoulder and noticed something strange. The golden light rat was a highly poisonous creature, its entire body was covered in poison. Even he didn't dare to touch it. Yet, when the golden light rat landed on the blue-robed young man's shoulder, nothing happened to the blue-robed young man. 2 sirs, my subordinates only attacked because they wanted to catch the golden light rat, not because they wanted to attack you too. I hope 2 sirs can forgive this lowly person. Hui cupped his fists, please spare him. His attitude was sincere. Just as his words fell, the demon god sex expert fell from the sky, his face covered in dust. The demon god sex expert got to his feet in fear, retreating to Hu Yi, Yin Lin, and the others' side. Many thanks for your mercy. Hui cupped his fists in gratitude, then his gaze fell on the golden light rat, this golden light rat. You can leave. Lu Yiping said indifferently. Hu Yi was stunned. Yin Lin frowned, we've been chasing this golden light rat all the way here. So what? Lu Yiping retorted. Yin Lin couldn't help but feel annoyed. Hu Yi suddenly spoke, in that case, we'll excuse ourselves. He cupped his fists and turned to leave. Yin Lin opened his mouth, but in the end, he followed Hu Yi out of the valley. The more Yin Lin thought about it, the angrier he became. He grumbled, Lord Hu Yi, are we going to give up on that golden light rat just like that? Hu Yi said solemnly, these 2 people aren't simple. If I'm not mistaken, that thing in the golden retriever's hand should be the ancestor of Shadowblight's spatial artifact. Chapter 316. The forefather of Shadow Poison's spatial divine artifact. Yin Lin and the others were shocked. Hui nodded, yes, it's the forefather of Shadow Poison's spatial divine artifact. Several hundred years ago, when he bought a jade disc at an auction, he took out his spatial divine artifact to pay for it. I'm sure I'm not mistaken. He has the forefather of Shadow Poison's spatial divine artifact. Could they be the ones who killed the forefather of Shadow Poison? The demon god sect expert who wanted to grab Lu Yiping's shoulder trembled. A light flickered in Hu Yi's eyes, even if they didn't kill the forefather of Shadow Poison, I'm afraid there's someone behind them. Let's not think about that golden light mouse, let's look for another one. Although golden light mice were rare, as far as they knew, there should be more than one on the toxic continent. The 7 demon god sect experts left in bewilderment. After the demon god sect experts left, inside the valley, Lu Yiping looked at the golden light mouse on his shoulder and smiled, little guy, why aren't you coming down? The golden light mouse jumped down from Lu Yiping's shoulder and cupped its fists at Lu Yiping, bowing in gratitude, many thanks for saving my life, Lord. This golden light mouse was able to escape from Hu Yi's group all the way here, it was definitely not weak. Have a seat. Lu Yiping pointed to a spot near the bonfire. The golden light mouse did not stand on ceremony and sat down. Lu Yiping smiled and threw a jug of myriad eras wine to the golden light mouse. In ancient times, one of his in-name disciples was a golden light mouse. Therefore, Lu Yiping felt a sense of familiarity when he saw the golden light mouse in front of him. Lu Yiping, Taurus Longjiao, and the golden light mouse began to chat. The next day, Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao left the toxic continent. The golden light mouse bid farewell to the 2 and returned to the depths of the toxic continent. After leaving the toxic continent, Lu Yiping and Hui passed by a nearby city and heard many experts talking about the birth of the heavenly will. The mandate of heaven is about to be born. Many experts are rushing to the heavenly path. Lord Sikong Nan of the Ionic God Manor has already led the experts of the Ionic God Manor to the Heaven's Path. Not only Lord Sikong Nan, but Heaven's Vault Palace, Cold Solitude Sect, Divine Dragon Valley, Golden Buddha Temple, Ing family, and Changsun family have also led their experts to Heaven's Road. I heard that the top 10 experts on the supreme list of the Eternal Star Zone are all heading to Heaven's Path. Is there something different about the birth of destiny this time? Every 100 generations, the primal chaos heavens will come into being. Some say that the primal chaos heavens will be born this time. Therefore, the competition for the heavens this time will be even more intense than before. I wonder if the Che clan's 14 totem Lu Yiping has gone to Heaven's Road. There seemed to be no movement from Che Fu. 14 totems. TSK. That's unprecedented. That said, even the exalted Sikong Nan, the master of our Ionic God Manor, is taking action. Even if the exalted Lu Yiping has 14 totems, he still won't be able to do anything. The discussions reached Lu Yiping's ears. In addition to discussing the birth of the Heaven's Will, they were also discussing the death of Forefather Shadow Poison. Several days later, the news of Forefather Shadow Poison's death had spread, causing a huge commotion in the Deep South Plain and the Eternal Star Zone. The death of anyone in the top 100 of the sovereign ranking was a big deal for the Eternal Star Zone, not to mention someone like Forefather Shadow Poison, who was ranked 36th on the sovereign ranking. Primal Chaos Heaven's Will, Taurus Longjiao said, I wonder what level of Primal Chaos Heavens will come into being. Even Primal Chaos Heavens had different levels of strength. Level 1 Primal Chaos Heavens was the lowest, while Level 10 Primal Chaos Heavens was the highest. In the Primordial Era, Level 7 and 8 Primal Chaos Heavens wills had been born. Maybe a Level 10 Primal Chaos Heavens will come into being, Lu Yiping said. It's been a long time since a Level 10 Primal Chaos Heavens has appeared. Taurus Longjiao nodded. Chaitsipeng's luck is pretty good. When he fuses with a Level 10 Primal Chaos Heavens will, even if it's just a single Heaven's Will, he'll be able to tear apart God Kings with 4 or 5 Heaven's Wills with his bare hands. The two of them didn't stay for long as they passed by the city and returned to the boundless plain. Now that the Heaven's Will was about to come into being, they had to meet up with Chaitsipeng and head to the Heaven's Path. The Heaven's Path was a spatial passage that led to the divine world. Although it was called a path, it was incomparably vast, even bigger than the Eternal Star Zone. Every time the Heaven's Will came into being, it would appear in the Heaven's Path. Therefore, to compete for the Heaven's Will, one had to head to the Heaven's Path. Of course, every time the Heaven's Will came into being, it was also the most chaotic and bloody time in the Heaven's Path. At that time, not only would the experts of the Eternal Star Zone head to the Heaven's Path, but also the experts of the lower realms. Even some old antiques that had been cultivating in seclusion for many years would appear in the Heaven's Path. Sikong Nan was the Eternal Divine Manor's Manor Lord, the strongest person in the Eternal Star Zone. However, even he didn't dare to say that he was invincible in the lower realms. That was because the lower realms were boundless, and no one knew how big they were. Even more so, no one knew the strength of the nameless old antiques hidden in some uninhabited star zone. For example, Chaitsipeng had swallowed 2 million-year 9-colored divine mushrooms, allowing him to live from the ancient era until now. In the boundless star zone, there were definitely terrifying existences that had lived from the ancient era until now. Some of them were even older than Chaitsipeng. In this generation, the birth of the Primal Chaos Heavens would definitely alarm these old antiques. The Heaven's Path would be filled with all kinds of people, and blood would flow into the sea. Before long, Lu Yiping and Li Qiye entered the boundless plain. When they arrived at the Great Dragon Continent, they discovered that it was much livelier than before. Just as Lu Yiping and Li Qiye were about to enter the Ziwei city, a young man struck up a conversation with Lu Yiping and Li Qiye. Brothers, do you know how to get to the Ziwei city? Hearing this, Lu Yiping told the young man the direction of the Ziwei city. The young man thanked Li Qiye and flew towards the Ziwei city. As Lu Yiping and Li Qiye approached the Ziwei city, they discovered that more and more experts were heading towards the Ziwei city. After asking around, they found out that the Che Manor was recruiting guest elders, and everyone was heading towards the Ziwei city. Soon, the Ziwei city came into view. When Lu Yiping and Li Qiye returned to the Che Manor, they saw that it had changed greatly. In the past few years, it had expanded several times. Moreover, the entrance of the Che Manor had undergone a makeover. In front of the Che Manor's entrance, there was a long queue. Clearly, they were all here to apply for the position of guest elder. Lu Yiping also saw the young man who had asked for directions earlier. Those who came to apply were mostly ancient god realm experts. The guards at the entrance recognized Lu Yiping and Li Qiye. Seeing that it was Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao, they excitedly knelt down in greeting, "Lord Lu, you're back." Lu Yiping nodded, allowing the guards to rise. Then, he entered the Che Manor under the excited guards' gazes. Just as they entered the Che Manor, they saw Che Peng, Che Suping, Che Xiaoning, and the rest coming out after hearing the news. "Lord, you're back." Che Ziping came to Lu Yiping and Li Qiye, bowing with excitement. Lu Yiping allowed Che Peng to rise, then asked with a smile, "Did anything happen in the Che family these past few years?" Chapter 317. Hearing Lu Yiping's question, Che Peng hurriedly replied, "Nothing happened." Then he smiled, "Ever since the battle with the Black-White Deity Palace, our Che Manor's door has been trampled by experts from all over the world." Che Peng's words made Lu Yiping, the Dragon Horn Golden Bull, and Che Xiaoning also laughed out loud. However, Che Xiaoning's laughter was a bit abrupt, causing her father, Che Suping, to give her a sidelong glance. Lu Yiping and the rest entered the Che Manor's main hall under Che Peng's and Che Suping's greeting. After everyone sat down, Che Peng told Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao in detail about the events of the past few years. It turned out that after Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao destroyed the Black-White Deity Palace, experts from all over the Boundless Plains and even the surrounding plains rushed to Ziwei City, wanting to submit to the Che Manor. After some consideration, Che Peng recruited ancient god realm experts from all over the world. Che Zipeng personally tested every expert that came and went through various selections. In the past few years, he had already recruited more than 100 ancient gods. During this period, the Wu family's patriarch, Wu Weidong, personally came over and said that he was willing to sell the Wu family to the Che Manor. Subsequently, Che Peng bought the surrounding manors. Now, the Che Manor had expanded by 5 to 6 times. "Oh right, Lord, the city lord of Ziwei City has changed." Che Ziping said, "The new city lord is a core disciple of the Zhangsun family." The Zhangsun family was ranked very high among the 100 families. It was a giant among the top 10 families, much stronger than the Su family. After the new city lord, Zhang Sunyu, came to visit our Che Manor. His attitude was very humble. Che Ziping said. After listening, Lu Yiping muttered, "The heavenly mandate is about to come into being. Prepare, we will head to the heavens path tomorrow." Che Peng stood up and respectfully acknowledged. At this time, Che Suping stepped forward and bowed with a worried expression, "Lord, I heard that the primal chaos heavenly mandate will come into being in this generation. At that time, a few terrifying old antiques will come into being. Even existences more terrifying than Lord Sikong Nan will appear in the heavens path. Even more terrifying than Sikong Nan was a god king with 11 wills." Even though Lu Yiping was a 14-totem ancient god with astonishing battle prowess, he was no match for such an existence. It was no wonder that Che Suping was worried about Lu Yiping and Che Jipeng. Hearing this, Taurus Longjiao smiled and said, "An existence even more terrifying than Sikong Nan? It's not like we haven't met before." Che Suping was stunned. She had seen him before. Che Zipeng smiled at Che Suping and said, "Don't worry. With Milord and Lord Shaojin here, nothing will happen." Che Suping nodded. The next day, Lu Yiping's group of 3 left Zi-Wei City under the respectful escort of the Che family's experts. Lu Yiping's group of 3 boarded the Black Dragon flying ship and soon disappeared into the horizon. Towards Heaven's Road. It's been a long time since I've been to the Heavenly Road. I wonder how the Heavenly Road has changed. Standing at the bow of the Black Dragon flying ship, Taurus Longjiao reminisced. Che Jipeng smiled. I heard that the current Heavenly Palace's goddess is extremely beautiful. Heavenly Palace was one of the 3 great forces of Heaven's Road. During the ancient Myriad Gods era, Taurus Longjiao and the Heavenly Palace's goddess had an ambiguous relationship. Oh, is that so? Taurus Longjiao smiled and said, however, I'm now the same as Master, focused on cultivation and pursuing the Supreme Tao. I'm no longer interested in women. Che Jipeng was stunned. When Lu Yiping heard Che Jipeng mention Heavenly Palace, he fell silent. Heavenly Palace was founded more than 2 million years ago. Its founder was called Sang Song and was his disciple in name. However, very few people knew that Sang Song was his disciple in name. Even Che Jipeng didn't know this. Even the people of the Master of Myriad Gods generation didn't know this. This was because Sang Song was hundreds of thousands of years older than the Master of Myriad Gods. The Black Dragon flying ship tore through the stars at an extremely fast speed and approached Heaven's Road. Heaven's Road wasn't far from the eternal star field. They only needed to pass through a dozen star fields to reach it. However, there were still a few months before the birth of the heavenly mandate, so Lu Yiping and the others weren't in a hurry. Half a month later, the 3 of them arrived at Heaven's Road. They saw a huge road, which was countless miles wide and long, lying in front of the vast river of stars. On Heaven's Road, there were countless planets, planes, continents, sects, and families. The eternal star field was the strongest star field in the lower realm. However, Heaven's Road didn't belong to any star field. Heaven's Road was the place closest to the upper realm. It was even more ancient than the eternal star field. Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao walked towards the plain in front of them. This plain was the outermost plain of Heaven's Road. It was also the most famous plain in Heaven's Road. It was called the 8 Desolates Plain. Experts from various starfields would pass through the 8 Desolates Plain. 8 Desolates Plain was the only way. 8 Desolates Plain didn't belong to any sect. It was the most chaotic place. After arriving in the airspace above 8 Desolates Plain, Lu Yiping kept the Black Dragon flying ship and walked towards the city with Taurus Longjiao and Che Zipeng. City of Death. Above the city gates, there were 2 words written in ancient script. Moreover, the words were still dripping with blood. It seemed like the blood hadn't dried yet. Lu Yiping could see that the 2 words City of Death contained a blood river formation. As long as there was a battle in the City of Death, blood would flow out from the 2 words. Therefore, the 2 words City of Death would always be dripping with blood. The blood was still warm. The formation isn't bad. Taurus Longjiao looked at the 2 words and said. He followed Lu Yiping. Although his zither skills weren't that good, he was still good at formations. Lu Yiping's group of 3 walked into the City of Death. By the time Lu Yiping entered the City of Death, the blood on the city gates had completely disappeared. The blood river formation stopped working. Not long after Lu Yiping's group entered the City of Death, someone finally noticed that the blood on the city gates had disappeared. The blood on the city gates has disappeared. What's going on? The blood on the city gates has been flowing for hundreds of thousands of years, it has never disappeared. More and more people in the City of Death heard the news and gathered around the city gates. Seeing that the blood on the city gates had indeed disappeared, everyone was discussing and puzzled. What? The blood on the city gates has disappeared? The Patriarch of Death City's #1 family, Qi Ren, was surprised when he heard the news. The blood river formation on the city gates was arranged by his Qi family's ancestors. Unless someone destroyed the Blood River Formation, the blood on the city gates couldn't have disappeared. Qi-ren rushed to the city gates in a hurry. Seeing that the blood on the city gates had indeed disappeared, he asked his subordinate with a solemn expression, "Did anyone destroy the Blood River Formation?" "I've already inquired about it." The passers-by all said that they didn't see anyone do it. His subordinate quickly replied. "Didn't see anyone do it?" Qi-ren's expression became even more serious after listening to his subordinate. Could it be that the other party used divine sense to break the Blood River Formation? He slowly said, "A super expert in formations came to the City of Death." Chapter 318. His Qi family's ancestors' array formation was infinitely close to the realm where anything could form an array. This Blood River Formation had been operating for hundreds of thousands of years and no one had ever broken it. But now, it was broken by someone. Moreover, it was broken without any of the experts in the ghost town noticing. "Patriarch, do you want to check who entered the ghost town just now?" the Qi family's subordinate asked. Qi-ren pondered for a moment and said, "Check who entered the ghost town in the past hour." The Qi family's expert complied. The Qi family was the number one family in the ghost town. Therefore, the result came out very quickly. In the past hour, there were more than 300 sects and forces that entered the ghost town. "Oh, you're saying that old man Tian Bei entered the ghost town?" Qi-ren's eyes narrowed. Old man Tian Bei was the number one array master in the Eternal Ancient Star Field, and also the fourth strongest expert in the Eternal Ancient Star Field. "Yes, Patriarch." The Qi family's subordinate said, "Old man Tian Bei and his 3 disciples entered the ghost town at the same time." Qi-ren nodded hearing that. Other than old man Tian Bei, the Silver-Winged Divine Mansion's Mansion Master and their experts also entered the ghost town. The Qi family's subordinate continued, "The Silver-Winged Divine Mansion sent many experts this time, and each of them is an expert." Silver-Winged Divine Mansion's Mansion Master, Silver-Winged King Yi-Mu. Qi-ren said solemnly. "Yes, Silver-Winged King Yi-Mu." The Qi family's expert replied respectfully. The Eternal Ancient Star Field was the number 1 star field in the lower realm, and the Silver-Winged Star Field was the number 2 star field in the lower realm. One could imagine the strength of this Silver-Winged King Yi-Mu. Moreover, everyone knew that this Yi-Mu was obsessed with array formations. His mastery of array formations had reached an unimaginable level. The old housekeeper sitting beside Qi-ren said, "Was it old man Tian Bei and the Silver-Winged King who broke the Blood River Formation?" Qi-ren said, "Pass down the order, tell the Qi family's disciples to restrain themselves and not provoke old man Tian Bei and the Silver-Winged King." As the number 1 family in the ghost town, the Qi family's disciples were used to being domineering in the ghost town. "Patriarch, rest assured, I've already passed down the order." After Lu Yiping's trio entered the ghost town and passed by a small tavern, they heard a pleasantly surprised voice, "Big Brother Lu." Lu Yiping turned around and saw more than 10 people walking out of the tavern. They were none other than Su Teng from Northern Wilderness Starfield's Azure Thunder Divine Sect, Sword Ancestor Zhou Kan, as well as Tang Qing and Tang Shuiao from Stellar Moon Peak. Behind Tang Shuiao was Tang Bin. Taurus Longjiao smiled when he saw Tang Bin. "Little Bin, it's you." Tang Bin laughed heartily as he rushed over. Taurus Longjiao picked Tang Bin up. "Big Brother Xiao Jin, Big Brother Lu, I told you that you would definitely come to Heaven's path this time." Tang Bin laughed happily. It was the laughter of a reunion after a long separation. Lu Yiping also smiled and patted Tang Bin's head. He and Taurus Longjiao liked Tang Bin very much. Lord Lu, Lord Xiaojin, Lord Che, Su Teng, Sword Ancestor Zhou Kan, Tang Qing, and the rest were overjoyed. They all stepped forward and bowed respectfully to Lu Yiping's trio. Tang Shuiao came to Lu Yiping's side and said, "Big Brother Lu." Lu Yiping nodded with a smile, "Miss Shuiao." He then asked Su Teng, "Why are you here?" Su Teng smiled embarrassedly. "After receiving Lord's guidance and the spiritual herbs that Lord left behind, I formed the 10 totems a few days ago and wanted to come to Heaven's Path to take a look." He then added, "We're just here to take a look and have no intention of fighting for Heaven's Path. Moreover, Lord Xia and the rest might also come to Heaven's Path, so we came to see if we could meet Lord Lu and the rest." Tang Bin smiled. "I pestered old ancestor Su Teng to come. I haven't seen Big Brother Lu and the rest for a few years, so I wanted to come and see Big Brother Lu." He then blinked and said, "Of course, my sister also wants to see Big Brother Lu." Tang Shuiao was stunned and her face blushed. She pretended to be angry at her little brother who liked to cause trouble. Tang Bin stuck out his tongue and giggled. "Lord Lu, shall we talk inside?" Su Teng asked Lu Yiping, indicating that they should sit down in the small tavern first. Lu Yiping nodded and returned to the small tavern with Azure Thunder, God Zhongzhong and the rest. The tavern was not big, about 100 meters wide, with 20 to 30 tables. The inside of the tavern was already full. After everyone sat down, Su Teng, Zhou Can, and the rest started chatting with Lu Yiping, Taurus Longjiao, and Che Zipeng. Before Lu Yiping left, he strengthened the Azure Thunder Divine Sect's protective array and left behind a lot of Star Chaos water. Hence, the Azure Thunder Divine Sect was thriving in recent years. However, Che Peng had killed the God of Destruction, Copper God, and 100 Northern Barons Grand Commanders in the Northern Baron Divine Manor. Hence, the Northern Baron Institute Principal Hao Yanbi had vented his anger on the Azure Thunder Divine Sect and had been suppressing them for the past few years. "Oh, Hao Yanbi has been suppressing the Azure Thunder Divine Sect in recent years." Taurus Longjiao's face turned cold. Su Teng said, "I heard that Hao Yanbi was from the Silver-Winged Divine Manor before he became the Northern Wilderness Prefecture Lord." Silver-Winged Monarch Mu. Che Zipeng was surprised. Even in the Eternal Star Field, the Silver-Winged Monarch Mu's reputation was great. His strength was enough to intimidate many star fields. Su Teng nodded, "Yes, the Silver-Winged Monarch. I heard that Hao Yanbi was a guard of the Silver-Winged Divine Manor. Later, he was recognized by the Silver-Winged Monarch and was appointed as the Northern Wilderness Prefecture Lord." Lu Yiping nodded. In fact, many of the prefecture lords were appointed by Eternal Star Field Sikong Nan and Silver-Winged Monarch Mu. Many of the prefecture lords were their subordinates. Su Teng said, "Hao Yanbi is also in the Heaven's Path and is with the Silver-Winged Divine Manor's experts." "Lord, you must be careful of the Silver-Winged Divine Manor's experts." Su Teng and the rest only knew that Che Zipeng had displayed his 12 totems in the Nether Sea and killed the Nether God Ing Fei Li. They did not know what had happened in the Eternal Star Field. Suddenly, Su Teng stopped and looked outside the tavern with a stunned expression. Several people walked in, and one of them was Hao Yanbi's daughter, Hao Yan Qingyue. Other than Hao Yan Qingyue, there were several young men and women. One of the young men was wearing the Silver-Winged Divine Manor's brocade robe. Hao Yan Qingyue and the rest followed behind him. "It's you guys." Hao Yan Qingyue was surprised to see Su Teng. When she saw Lu Yiping, Taurus Longjiao, and Che Zipeng, she exclaimed, "Qingyue, you know them?" The young man in the Silver-Winged Divine Manor's brocade robe asked when he saw Hao Yan Qingyue's reaction. "Young Master Yi Quan, he is Lu Yiping." Hao Yan Qingyue said. The young man was Yi Mu's nephew, Yi Quan. Yi Quan was shocked when he heard the name. He looked at Lu Yiping and asked, "You're Lu Yiping, the one with 14 totems? You're the one who annihilated the Black-White Divine Manor." "What? 14 totems?" Su Teng, Sword Ancestor Zhou Can, and the rest were shocked. Even Tang Bin and Tang Shuiyao looked at Lu Yiping in disbelief. Hao Yan Qingyue was also shocked. Like Su Teng and the rest, she did not know what had happened in the boundless world. Because the black-white divine manor's annihilation had only happened a few years ago, many star fields did not know about it. Chapter 319. In the tavern, the other experts were also in an uproar as they looked at Lu Yiping in shock and suspicion. This blue-robed young man has 14 totems. It was no wonder that these people were suspicious. Even in ancient times, there were only 13 totems. They had never heard of a 14-totem ancient god expert. Young Master Yi Quan, could it be someone with the same name? Haoyan Qingyue asked Yi Quan. Same name? Yi Quan looked at Lu Yiping in confusion. At this moment, Lu Yiping said to Haoyan Qingyue indifferently, "Go back and tell your father that if he dares to touch Azure Thunder Sect again, even if he has Silverwing God Mansion's protection, I will still cut off his head." Whether it was Haoyan Qingyue or the other young men and women, they were all furious. Even Yi Quan's face sank. Even if this person was really Lu Yiping with 14 totems, he might not be too arrogant. Cut off the head of Northern Wilderness God Mansion Master. On the surface, it was a warning to Northern Wilderness God Mansion Master Hao Yanbi, but it was also a warning to Silverwing God Mansion. Yi Quan's face turned cold as he said, "Your Excellency, is this a warning to our Silverwing God Mansion?" Lu Yiping said, "You can understand it that way." A young man behind Yi Quan couldn't help but fly into a rage. "Brat, even if you are really Lu Yiping with 14 totems, you are still just an ancient god. You, an ancient god, dare to speak nonsense to our Silverwing God Mansion. Any 7 Wills God King from our Silverwing God Mansion can crush you to death." "Oh, is that so?" Lu Yiping's face was calm. He didn't seem to move, but the young man behind Yi Quan was suddenly sucked to Lu Yiping by a shocking force. Everyone was shocked. "Lu Yiping, what are you doing?" "My father is the great commander of Silverwing God Mansion, an 8 Wills God King." The young man couldn't move at all. He was shocked and angry. 8 Wills God King. Taurus Longjiao sneered and sent the young man flying with a slap. He landed on the street outside the tavern. "You broke my god vein and totem." The young man vomited blood and looked at Taurus Longjiao in shock and anger. Yi Quan and the others glared at Taurus Longjiao. "Do you know the consequences of doing this?" Yi Quan glared at Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao. "Scram!" Taurus Longjiao snorted coldly. "If you continue to be long-winded, I'll crush all of you to death." Feeling the killing intent from Taurus Longjiao, Yi Quan didn't dare to say anything more. He brought the injured young man and left with Hao Yan, Qingyue, and the others. Su Teng, Zhou Can, and the rest watched Yi Quan's group leave in a daze for a long time. At this time, in a certain residence in the Ghost City, the Silver-Winged King Yi Mu and the experts of the Silver-Winged Divine Manor were chatting happily with Old Man Tian Bei. "We haven't seen each other for several thousand years, Senior Tian Bei is even more graceful than before." The Silver-Winged King Yi Mu smiled at Old Man Tian Bei. Old Man Tian Bei, who had a face full of white hair and a pair of spirited eyes, laughed and said, "I'm old. After a few more years, I'm afraid my old bones won't be able to walk anymore. How can I be compared to Manor Lord Yi?" Both of them flattered each other. Yi Mu smiled and said, "Senior Tian Bei, why don't we work together for the birth of the heaven's will?" Old Man Tian Bei looked at Yi Mu and the experts around him, and an idea flashed in his mind. He smiled and said, "How do we work together? There's only one chaos heaven's will." Just as Yi Mu was about to continue, he saw Yi Quan and the others walking in with miserable expressions. When Senior Commander Chen Ting saw Yi Quan's injured son, Chen Ji, he stood up in shock. Yi Mu could tell that Chen Ji's god vein and totem were broken with a single glance. He frowned and asked Yi Quan, "What happened?" Yi Quan didn't dare to conceal anything, and he quickly told Yi Mu everything. He didn't add any details, and told him what Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao said. When the experts in the hall heard Lu Yiping warning Hao Lianbi that if he dared to touch the Azure Thunder Divine Sect again, even if he had the protection of the Silver-Winged Divine Mansion, he would still be beheaded, their faces turned cold. Old man Tianbei was also surprised. Of course, he knew about the Black-White Deity Palace. However, even though Lu Yiping had 14 totems, and it was shocking, wasn't it too inappropriate for him to provoke the Silver-Winged Divine Mansion? Did Lu Yiping really say that? Yi Mu's face sank. It's absolutely true. Yi Quan quickly said, nephew doesn't dare to exaggerate. Those were Lu Yiping's words. The other youngsters from the Silver-Winged Divine Mansion also spoke. A person with 14 totems provoking our Silver-Winged Divine Mansion, interesting. Yi Mu suddenly smiled at old man Tianbei, senior Tianbei. What do you think of this Lu Yiping? Old man Tianbei smiled, even though 14 totems is unprecedented, he's still just an ancient god. However, everyone is speculating whether or not this Lu Yiping has 15 totems. Yi Mu shook his head. In the ancient times, even the master of myriad gods only had 13 totems. This Lu Yiping being able to condense 14 totems is already a miracle. How can he condense 15 totems? Clearly, he didn't believe that Lu Yiping could condense 15 totems. Or rather, he didn't believe that 15 totems existed in this world. Then he smiled, this Lu Yiping dares to provoke our Silver-Winged Divine Mansion, I'm curious about his confidence. Then he added, Senior Tianbei, shall we go meet this Lu Yiping together? Old man Tianbei smiled, alright, I also want to see what 14 totems look like. I heard that this Lu Yiping's totems are bigger than Ziwei City. Hence, Yi Mu, old man Tianbei, and the rest headed towards Lu Yiping's little tavern. Yi Mu was the Silver-Winged Divine Mansion's mansion master, while old man Tianbei was the 4th-ranked expert on the ancient star field's sovereign list. Both of them appeared at the same time, and their imposing manner attracted the attention of all the experts in the Ghost City. I heard that there's a 14-totem expert in the ancient star field called Lu Yiping. Just now, Lu Yiping crippled the divine veins and totems of the Silver-Winged Divine Mansion's disciples. What, a 14-totem ancient god? That's impossible. When the news of the tavern spread, all the experts were shocked. In a certain courtyard in the Ghost City, Myriad God Sect's Patriarch Wang Fengwen smiled indifferent when he heard the news. Lu Yiping provoked the Silver-Winged Divine Mansion. Does he think that the Silver-Winged Divine Mansion is our Myriad God Sect and the Black-White Palace? Let's go and see how Lu Yiping dies. He led the Myriad God Sect's experts to the little tavern. Inside the little tavern, Lu Yiping and the rest were about to leave after settling the bill when they sensed the powerful auras of the Silver-Winged Divine Mansion's experts. Everyone looked over and saw Yi Mu and old man Tianbei chatting and laughing as they walked over. Behind them were the Silver-Winged Divine Mansion's experts and old man Tianbei's 3 personal disciples. It's the Silver-Winged Monarch. And old man Tianbei. An expert exclaimed. When Su Teng, Zhou Can, and the rest heard this, their faces changed. To them, existences like the Silver-Winged Monarch and old man Tianbei were supreme existences that they could not touch. They also saw the Northern Wilderness Divine Mansion's mansion master Hao Lianbi, who was hailed as the strongest person in the Northern Wilderness star field. He was following behind the Silver-Winged Monarch's group. Chapter 320. Yi Mu stopped his conversation with old man Tianbei when they arrived at the small tavern. He turned to look at Lu Yiping, Taurus Longjiao, and the others inside. This glance made Su Teng, Zhou Can, and the others feel as if they were facing heaven and earth. In their eyes, the Silver-Winged Monarch Yi Mu was the heavens. Everything in this world was as weak as dust before him. Su Teng, Zhou Can, and the others felt the urge to kneel and worship him. Just as they were about to kneel, Taurus Longjiao let out a cold harumph. Su Teng, Zhou Can, and the others shuddered, and their eyes cleared. Yi Mu couldn't help but look at the bull with a surprised expression. Soon, the silver-winged monarch Manor's group arrived at the small tavern. Yi Mu's gaze shifted from Taurus Longjiao to Lu Yiping, and he smiled, "Looks like you're the 14th totem Lu Yiping." He then looked at Lu Yiping from head to toe, commenting, "Not bad, your aura is deep like the abyss, and your divine soul is firm." The smile on Yi Mu's face disappeared as he continued, "My nephew said that you warned Hao Yanbi that if he dares to touch the Azure Thunder Divine Sect, even with the silver-winged monarch Manor's protection, his head will be chopped off, right?" "That's right," Lu Yiping answered indifferently. Yi Mu called out, "Hao Yanbi." Hao Yanbi, who was at the back of the group, hurried to Yi Mu's side and bowed, "Lord. When we return, I permit you to mobilize the Northern Desolate Divine Mansion's army and annihilate the Azure Thunder Divine Sect for me." Yi Mu said, "After you annihilate the Azure Thunder Divine Sect, I will reward you handsomely." Everyone's expressions were colorful. Yi Mu was telling Lu Yiping that he did not want Hao Yanbi to touch the Azure Thunder Divine Sect, and that he wanted to annihilate it. Hao Yanbi was stunned, then he said happily, "Rest assured, Lord, after we return, I will mobilize the army and annihilate the Azure Thunder Divine Sect." Then, he added, "Lord, the dozen people standing behind Lu Yiping are the Azure Thunder Divine Sect's experts." "Oh." Yi Mu looked at Su Teng and Zhou Can, who were standing behind Lu Yiping, and said with a smile, "Since that's the case, kill these people first, then annihilate the Azure Thunder Divine Sect when you return." Hao Yanbi respectfully complied, then raised his head to look at Su Teng, Zhou Can, Tang Shuiyao, Tang Bin, and the others. Indifferent expressions appeared on the faces of the several thousand silver-winged Divine Mansion experts behind Yi Mu as they looked at Lu Yiping. Many of their auras locked onto Lu Yiping, Taurus Longjiao, and Che Peng. Yi Mu looked at Lu Yiping, Taurus Longjiao, and Che Peng and said indifferently, "Lu Yiping, I advise you not to interfere." Otherwise, however, as soon as he said this, a sword light suddenly flashed past. Everyone's eyes lit up. In the next second, everyone saw Hao Yanbi's head being tossed into the air. It was only after Hao Yanbi's head fell to the ground that Hao Yanbi's headless corpse fell to the ground. Everyone was stunned. Before everyone's eyes, Hao Yanbi's head slowly rolled to Yi Mu's feet. The silver-winged Divine Mansion's experts were similarly stunned as they looked at the head at Yi Mu's feet. Yi Mu and Old Man Tian Bei also looked at the rolling head with astonishment. "Father!" Hao Yanqingyu, who was at the back, cried out in grief. Yi Mu suddenly raised his head and looked at Lu Yiping with an ugly expression. He saw that a long sword had appeared in Lu Yiping's hand at some point in time. Indifferent expressions appeared on Yi Mu's face as he looked at Lu Yiping. His face was gloomy as he said, "Before coming here, I was still thinking about how to appreciate your talent. I was thinking that if you were willing to submit to me and work for me, I might be able to help you obtain a heaven's will in this era. But since you're courting death, then don't blame me." Light surged from his body. "There is no need for Lord Manor Lord to take action to kill an ancient god." At this time, Senior Commander Chen Ting, who was standing beside Yi Mu, spoke, "This subordinate is willing to take action on behalf of Lord Manor Lord." Yi Mu hesitated for a moment before nodding. As the Manor Lord of the Silver-Winged Divine Manor, killing Lu Yiping, an ancient god, was indeed beneath his dignity. If news of this spread, he would become a laughingstock. Immediately, Chen Ting walked towards Lu Yiping with killing intent in his eyes. He circulated the divine energy in his body and heaven's wills flew out one after another. There were actually 8 heaven's wills. Each heaven's will was more than 200 li wide. The 8 heaven's wills hung in the sky above the Jotian. Astonishing laws of heaven and earth swept out, alarming the experts in the city of death. A god king with 8 heaven's wills. Who is it? Some of the experts who didn't know what happened in the tavern were shocked. Somewhere in the city of death, several young men and women looked at the 8 heavens wheels in surprise. "Ask around and find out who's doing it," a beautiful woman in the lead said. Soon, they found out. Fourth senior sister, it's someone called Lu Yiping who killed the Silver-Winged Divine Manners people. The Silver-Winged Divine Manners Grand Commander Chen Ting wants to kill this Lu Yiping. One of them said, however, there are many experts in the City of Death saying that this Lu Yiping is an ancient god with 14 totems. Moreover, his totems are shockingly big. The fourth senior sister shook her head and laughed. 14 totems? Even our heavenly palace can't nurture an ancient god with 14 totems. This Lu Yiping has 14 totems? What a joke, only an idiot would believe it. Right at this time, heaven and earth shook violently. Not only was the City of Death shaking, even the space outside the city was shaking. In the next moment, the heavenly palace's people saw a black shadow that covered the sky flying out. The City of Death was bigger than Ziwei City. It was noon, and the sun was high in the sky. But when the black shadow flew out, the City of Death fell into darkness, and all the sunlight disappeared. As the black shadow rose, a shocking aura rushed out, creating waves of energy. The heavenly palace's people were shocked. Then, another unbelievably huge shadow flew out, followed by a third, a fourth, a fifth, and a sixth. Soon, there were 13 totems. These are totems? 13 totems. The heavenly palace's fourth senior sister stuttered. Just as her words fell, another totem flew out. The 14th totem broke through the shackles of heaven and earth, slowly rising. The ground of the City of Death was shaking, and all the buildings were shaking. 14 totems. One of the heavenly palace's female disciples blurted out. The heavenly palace's fourth senior sister was dumbfounded. Was it really 14 totems? Just when everyone thought it was over, heaven and earth shook violently again. Moreover, it was an unprecedented tremor, as if something wanted to come out. The space in the City of Death felt like it was going to explode. While everyone was still in shock, Lu Yiping's 15th totem flew out. When Lu Yiping's 15th totem flew out, not only were the heavenly palace's people dumbfounded, all the experts in the City of Death were aghast. Even Yi Mu and old man Tian Bei were astounded, unable to believe their eyes. This Lu Yiping really condensed 15 totems? The Silver-Winged Divine Mansion's great commander Chen Ting was shocked, and the killing intent in his eyes intensified. He was confident that he could kill Lu Yiping with 15 totems. This Lu Yiping must die. Just when he was about to go all out, suddenly, another black shadow flew out from Lu Yiping's body. 16 totems. Chapter 321. Everyone's mind went blank when they saw the 16 totems that flew out from Lu Yiping's body. The heavenly palace's fourth senior sister and the others were so shocked that they couldn't speak. Especially the heavenly palace's fourth senior sister, her beautiful eyes, heart, and soul were all shaken. She knew that the heavenly palace had exhausted countless resources to nurture a 14-totem expert, but they were still unable to do so. In the end, the heavenly palace's old ancestor had no choice but to give up, saying that it was impossible for a 14-totem ancient god to exist in this world. But now, they actually saw 16 totems. 16 totems, what kind of monster was this? There was actually such a monstrous existence in this world. Is this going to shake the myriad worlds? The heavenly palace's fourth senior sister trembled. The Silver-Winged Divine Manor and the experts in the Ghost City also stopped moving when they saw the 16 totems in front of them. Everyone in the Ghost City was looking at the 16 totems in the sky. The Qi family's patriarch, Qi Ren, and the Qi family's experts were also looking at the 16 totems in shock. 16 totems, I actually saw the birth of a 16-totem ancient god. In this world, any monstrous genius is a joke in front of him. Qi Ren muttered to himself. With the 16 totems hanging above the Jiutian, the ghost city was completely engulfed in darkness. In the sky, other than the 16 totems, there was nothing else. The 16 totems were the sky. The silver-winged King Yi Mu was the first to recover from his shock. He couldn't help regretting his actions. If he didn't come earlier, he wouldn't have formed a grudge with Lu Yiping. Now, it was a death grudge. And now, there was no turning back. The killing intent in his eyes was unprecedentedly strong. There was no turning back. If this Lu Yiping didn't die today, then in the future, the ones who would die would be him and the silver-winged divine manor. Today, Lu Yiping must die. With his strength as one of the 10 heavens mandate god kings, he was confident that he could kill Lu Yiping with 16 totems. Just as Yi Mu's killing intent was unprecedentedly strong, and he was about to urge the power of the 10 heavens mandate god kings to deal a fatal blow to Lu Yiping, the world shook violently again. Yi Mu and everyone else was stunned. What's going on? The people who were shocked by the 16 totems were shocked. Could it be? Old man Tianbei looked at Lu Yiping in shock. At the same time, the 4 senior sisters of the heavenly palace also thought of the same question. Their beautiful eyes were also full of horror. Does he have more? Also. As soon as she finished speaking, another totem flew out. This totem seemed to be bigger and brighter than all the previous totems. 17 totems. Yi Mu stopped channeling the heavenly will and said, his eyes wide open. Su Teng, Zhou Kan, Tang Qing, and the others looked at the 17 totems. Are you trying to blow up the heavens? Tang Bin said in a daze. Taurus Longjiao chuckled. The 17 totems rolled up layers upon layers of airwaves, and rushed out of the ghost town, and even rushed towards the heavenly road outside the ghost town. Heaven's road was countless miles wide, but at this moment, the 17 totems were rolling up a shockwave, with the ghost town as the center. It was continuously spreading towards the surroundings of Heaven's road. Some of the experts who rushed to Heaven's road were about to fly towards the ghost town when they suddenly saw layers upon layers of airwaves rushing out from the ghost town. Then, they swept through the layers of space in Heaven's road, spreading towards the boundless Heaven's road. A frightening power spread out. The experts outside the city were so frightened that they stopped what they were doing. What is this? A heaven's mandate god king asked in a daze. Look, what is that? Another 11 totem ancient god suddenly pointed above the ghost town. Everyone looked at the sky above the ghost town through the layers of airwaves. They saw 17 incomparably huge shadows were suspended in the sky above the ghost town. Black suns? That was the first reaction. But when they took a closer look, their breathing quickened, and their bodies trembled. Totems? A god king with 7 wills spoke with difficulty, 17 totem ancient gods. Totems. They had never seen such huge and resplendent totems. The appearance of the chaos wills this time actually attracted 17 totem ancient gods. An 8 wills god king was shocked. At this time, Lu Yiping stood on the street outside the tavern with his hands behind his back. His blue robe fluttered in the wind, making him look like the ruler of the heavens. Tang Xueyao looked at Lu Yiping, her chest heaving up and down. Lu Yiping was more than 1.8 meters tall, standing under the 17 totems like a speck of dust. But at this time, he was so majestic in everyone's eyes. The silver-winged god Manor's Grand Commander Chen Ting looked at the 17 totems in horror. His legs had long since turned to jelly from fright. It was as if he had contracted a soft disease and couldn't stand straight no matter how hard he tried. Chen Ting's 8 wills were like a rock standing under 17 mountains in front of the 17 totems. Lu Yiping looked at Chen Ting. The 17 totems trembled, and immediately, heavy energy crashed down like a heavenly river. Chen Ting's 8 wills exploded in an instant. Chen Ting's body froze, and his 8 wills exploded at the same time. He couldn't resist or escape at all and was directly blasted to death. Everyone trembled. This was an 8 Wills God King, an invincible existence in some star fields. But now, he was blasted to death in a single breath by an ancient god. Mu and the experts from Silver-Winged God Manor felt their hearts twitch when they saw Chen Ting die in a single blow. Lu Yiping looked at Mu and the experts from Silver-Winged God Manor and said, "It's your turn now, you can all attack together." Mu's expression was ugly. What did Lu Yiping just say? He wanted him and the several thousand experts from Silver-Winged God Manor to attack together. His expression sank. He glanced at the 17 totems and took a deep breath to calm himself down. He looked coldly at Lu Yiping. Attack together? Lu Yiping, you think too highly of yourself. I alone am enough to kill you. I don't believe that your 17 totems are that strong. Strong enough to contend against my 10 Heavens Will God Kings. Having said that, Mu activated the 10 Heavens Wills in his body. Space shook violently as Heaven's Wills flew out one after another. Each of them was 1,000 miles long. 1,000 miles Heaven's Will, that's a level 10 Heaven's Will. Everyone was shocked to see this. There were strong and weak Heaven's Wills. Generally speaking, 100 miles or less was a level 1 Heaven's Will, 200 miles was a level 2 Heaven's Will, and so on. Below level 3 Heaven's Wills were more common, but those above level 7 were extremely rare. As for level 10, they were even rarer. Above the 10th level were the 11th, 12th, and 13th levels. Above the 13th level was the Primal Chaos Mandate. No one expected Mu's Heaven's Will to be level 10. Amidst everyone's shock, Mu's 10 Heaven's Wills all flew out. The 10 Heaven's Wills circled in the sky and emitted rays of light. They swept up thousands of layers of energy waves and collided with the energy waves of the 17 totems. Chapter 322. The light from the 10 rank 10 fate beasts intertwined. Everyone was shocked to see Mu's 10 rank 10 fate beasts. Generally speaking, it wasn't easy to fuse with 1 rank 10 fate beasts, but Mu had fused with 10. No wonder Mu dared to fight Lu Yiping alone with 17 totems. A normal god monarch with 10 fate beasts wouldn't be able to fight against Lu Yiping with 17 totems. But now, Mu had 10 rank 10 fate beasts. Everyone looked at Lu Yiping's 17 totems and then at Mu's 10 rank 10 fate beasts. They were guessing the result of the battle. Lu Yiping's expression was calm as he looked at Mu's 10 rank 10 fate beasts. At this time, silver runes appeared all over Mu's body. Soon, the surface of his body was covered by silver runes. From afar, Mu looked like a strange golden person. Furthermore, behind Mu, there were 2 huge silver wings. Following the transformation, his aura rose again. Silverwing bloodline. One of the 10 primordial bloodlines. The crowd exclaimed. 10 rank 10 fate beasts in addition to one of the 10 primordial bloodlines, the Silverwing bloodline. Mu's huge silver wings suddenly flapped as he jumped up and arrived in front of Lu Yiping in an instant. His 2 fists punched at Lu Yiping. Silverwing Heavenly Light Fist. Silverwing Heavenly Light Fist. This was the strongest inheritance of the ancient Silver-Winged clan. When Mu punched out, the power of his 10 fate beasts fused together with his fists. 2 huge silver fists broke through the air. The silver fists blasted open layers of space and created a terrifying fist wave. Space whimpered. The Death City trembled as if it couldn't withstand the power of Mu's 10 fate beasts. Chi-Ren roared, "All families in the Death City, activate the defensive formation." Rays of light shot into the sky and covered every corner of the Death City. Layers of formation energy spread out and swept out. Under the protection of the myriad of clans formation in the ghost town, the ground and buildings in the ghost town began to undergo an astonishing transformation. They became dazzling gold, as if they were plated with layers upon layers of golden radiance. When Lu Yiping saw Yi Mu's silver-winged heavenly light fist, Lu Yiping responded with a punch of his own. When Lu Yiping punched out, the 17 totems shook, and layers of power fused into Lu Yiping's fist. Heaven and earth suddenly paused. Layers of chaotic light shot out from Lu Yiping's fist. What is this? Chaos. No one had ever seen anyone use their fists to produce the light of chaos. The light of chaos collided with the silver-winged heavenly fists. Rumble. Amidst the earth-shaking explosion, a terrifying light exploded. The ghost town's myriad of great formations were instantly shattered layer by layer. The sound of explosions resounded incessantly. The duo's power continued to spread to the surroundings. Under their power, the surrounding buildings instantly turned into nothingness. Retreat quickly. Old man Tianbei shouted in alarm. He quickly retreated while protecting his 3 personal disciples. The experts of the silver-winged divine mansion had already retreated far away. However, the duo's power was too terrifying, and the impact spread far and wide. Some of the experts of the silver-winged divine mansion were instantly affected and were sent flying. Some were directly smashed into pieces. As everyone retreated in shock, Yi Mu's body also paused. He was sent flying through the air, smashing through layers of buildings before finally smashing through the ghost town's walls and falling out of the ghost town. The place where Yi Mu smashed through rumbled, sending sand and rocks flying. 10 level 10 divine monarchs in addition to the 10 ancient bloodlines were still sent flying by a single punch. Everyone looked at Yi Mu, who fell outside the ghost town and was covered by the ghost town's walls with shock. A divine monarch with 10 divine wills could be said to be at the peak of the lower realm. However, he was still sent flying by Lu Yiping, an ancient god. An ancient god sending a divine monarch with 10 divine wills flying was unheard of. However, they witnessed it with their own eyes today. The people from the heavenly palace who rushed over were in disbelief when they saw this scene. Can an ancient god's strength reach this level? The 4th senior sister had a complicated expression. Lord Manor Lord. The group of experts from the silver-winged divine mansion rushed to the ghost town and blasted away the rocks that buried Yi Mu. Yi Mu was lying on the ground. Just as the silver-winged divine mansion's experts were about to rescue Yi Mu, a ray of silver light shot out from Yi Mu's body. The silver light grew stronger and stronger. At the same time, the 10 level 10 divine wills in the air trembled as a powerful energy rushed out from Yi Mu's body. Yi Mu slowly stood up. Golden flames began to emerge from the silver light. Everyone looked over and saw that the shattered silver divine armor on Yi Mu's body was actually repairing itself. This is the undying power of the undying bloodline. A female disciple from the heavenly palace exclaimed. The undying bloodline was somewhat similar to the phoenix's nirvana power. Yi Mu looked at Lu Yiping in shock and anger. Suddenly, he waved his hands and the power of the 10 divine wills turned into countless light runes that fell from the sky like rain. This is a time rune. Lord Yi Mu wants to arrange a time divine formation. Someone shouted. The crowd was in an uproar. The time divine formation was one of the top 10 ancient formations. In terms of power, it was ranked 2nd. However, it was extremely difficult to arrange a time divine formation. Not only did one need to comprehend the profundity of time, but one also needed to reach an extremely high level in the study of formations. Old Man Heaven Sorrow was shocked to see Yi Mu arrange a time divine formation. He was the #1 formation master in the eternal star field, but even with his attainments in formations, he couldn't arrange a time divine formation. It didn't take long for the talismans to merge together, forming a series of images that surrounded Lu Yiping. Die! Yi Mu waved his hands and countless time diagrams revolved, forming a long river of time that emitted a shocking time light. Under this time light, everything withered and aged. Lu Yiping was also drowned by the light from the river of time. The power of the river of time surged for a long time. Lu Yiping's figure completely disappeared into the light from the river of time. Everyone was stunned. Even Yi Mu was surprised. Right at this time, everyone saw a figure walk out from the light from the river of time. It was Lu Yiping. "You're fine after being hit by my time divine formation." Yi Mu couldn't believe it. Everyone looked at Lu Yiping in shock. Lu Yiping's expression remained unchanged. Is this considered a time divine formation? Yi Mu was dumbfounded. The time divine formation he had arranged wasn't considered a time divine formation. "Alright, I'm not going to play with you anymore," Lu Yiping said. He raised his hand and punched out. Yi Mu saw a time river that was several hundred times bigger than his time divine formation flying out from Lu Yiping's fist. Yi Mu was drowned by the time river in an instant. The time river surged towards the end of heaven's path. 10 level 10 destiny god kings were completely annihilated. Chapter 323. As Yi Mu was blasted to the end of heaven's path, his 10-rank 10 fate wills also began to crumble. In the end, all of them disappeared and returned to heaven and earth. Everyone stared at the end of heaven's path, unable to shift their gazes away for a long time. A god king with 10 fate wills being killed, this was extremely shocking. Even in the past battles for fate wills, it was rare for someone with 10 fate wills to fall. But now, before the fate wills were born and the battle had yet to begin, a god king with 10 fate wills was killed. Moreover, it was a god king with 10 fate wills and the silver-winged divine manners Yi Mu. Ionic divine manners Sikong Nan and silver-winged divine manners Yi Mu were known as the two manner masters of the lower realm. Many manner masters of star fields were under their command. But now, one of the two manner masters, Yi Mu, had died in the hands of an ancient god. Everyone's mood was complicated as they looked at the light blue figure standing with his hands behind his back and the 17 totems in the sky. Lu Yiping looked at the experts of the silver-winged divine manner and old man Tianbei. The experts of the silver-winged divine manner and old man Tianbei's expression changed drastically as they retreated in fear. "Lord Lu, please don't misunderstand. Yi Mu and I only met by chance." Old man Tianbei explained, "We have no intention of becoming enemies with Lord Lu." Vice Manor Master Shu Gao cupped his fists and said, "Yi Mu is courting death by becoming enemies with Lord Lu. We have no intention of becoming enemies with Lord Lu." His attitude was respectful and sincere. The commanders and vice-commanders of the Silver-Winged Divine Manor exchanged glances. In the crowd, Yi Quan was staring at Lu Yiping with killing intent. At this time, Shu Gao suddenly turned around and sent Yi Quan flying with a palm strike. When Yi Quan landed on the ground, his body had cracked and his vitality was fading away. He was dead. Yi Quan was only a peak late-stage ancient god, how could he withstand a palm strike from Shu Gao's 10 fate wills? Everyone was shocked at Shu Gao's ruthlessness when they saw Shu Gao kill Yi Quan without hesitation to express his intentions to Lu Yiping. The experts of the Silver-Winged Divine Manor kept quiet out of fear. There were two god monarchs with 10 wills. One was Yi Mu and the other was Shu Gao. Now that Yi Mu was dead, Shu Gao's cultivation was the strongest. With his prestige, no one dared to say anything. After that, Shu Gao struck again, killing Qingyue on the spot. Then, he turned to Lu Yiping and said, "Master Lu, don't worry. When the time comes, I will send another expert to appoint the Northern Wilderness Divine Prefecture as an ally." Then, he added, "Or, I will let someone from the Azure Thunder Divine Sect take over as the Northern Wilderness Divine Prefecture's chief." Lu Yiping retrieved the 17 totems and asked, "Let the Azure Thunder Sect take over the Northern Wilderness Divine Prefecture?" Shu Gao hurriedly said, "Yes, of course. In the future, the Azure Thunder Divine Sect doesn't need to listen to the orders of my Silver-Winged Divine Mansion." Lu Yiping nodded, then asked Su Teng to take over the position of the Northern Wilderness Prefecture Lord. Su Teng was overjoyed and respectfully complied. Then, Lu Yiping, Taurus Longjiao, Su Teng, Tang Bin, and the rest left the scene. Everyone watched as Lu Yiping's group left, but no one said a word. Shu Gao felt his legs trembling. Fourth senior sister, are we still going to the Qi family? A female disciple from the heavenly palace asked. Fourth senior sister Yan Hong looked at the direction Lu Yiping left with a complicated expression and said, let's not go to the Qi family for now. First, let's report to the palace master that in this era, a monstrous genius with 17 totems has appeared. Soon, the news of the 17 totem ancient gods killing the silver-winged emperor Yi Mu spread throughout the heavens path. The heavenly palace. Shao Qing was stunned for a long time when he heard the news. Then, he exclaimed, 17 totem ancient gods. The heavenly palace's ancestors were equally shocked. That's impossible. One of the ancestors exclaimed, in the ancient times, there were only 13 totems. Our heavenly palace has exhausted countless resources, but we were unable to cultivate 14 totems. How can there be a 17 totem ancient god in this world? The other ancestors also had a look of disbelief. This was hard to believe. 17 totems was simply unimaginable. In the main hall, the ancestors were all agitated. After a long while, the heavenly palace's palace master Shao Qing said, Yan Hong and the rest saw it with their own eyes. Many experts in the ghost town also saw it. This person is called Lu Yiping. He killed the silver-winged emperor Yi Mu with the power of 17 totems. The ancestors were dumbfounded. The silver-winged emperor is dead? One of the ancestors stuttered. The ancestors were well aware of the silver-winged emperor Yi Mu's strength. Some of them had even fought with Yi Mu. Yi Mu's strength could be ranked in the top 10 among the ancestors in the heavenly palace. Such an existence was killed by an ancient god? Dead. Shao Qing sighed. Yan Hong said that Lu Yiping's totems were shockingly huge. They had never seen such a huge totem before. When the 17 totems were summoned, they covered the entire ghost town sky. At that time, the ghost town was plunged into darkness. The shockwaves created by the 17 totems rushed out countless miles outside the ghost town. The silver-winged emperor was killed by a divine time fist. The 17 totems had covered the entire ghost town's sky. Although no one knew how big the 17 totems were, they could imagine the scene. Was it old Devil Time's divine time fist? One of the ancestors suddenly asked. Yes. Shao Qing nodded. However, when Lu Yiping punched out with his divine time fist, the river of time filled the heavens and earth. Yi Mu was blasted several miles away from the ghost town. Silence filled the hall. After a long time, one of the ancestors said, it doesn't matter if he has 17 or 18 totems. No matter who obstructs our heavenly palace from competing for the chaos heaven's will, they will all be killed. Shao Qing did not say anything. At this time, the group of Aeon God Manners experts who had rushed to the heavens path also received the news of the silver-winged emperor's death. Young Manor Lord Sikong Yifei was stunned for a long time. The silver-winged emperor died in Lu Yiping's hands. Lu Yiping is a 17 totem ancient god. The Aeon God Manor Lord Sikong Nan stood up with a frown on his face. He didn't say a word as he walked to the front of the palace gates and looked at the distant sky. After Lu Yiping killed Yi Mu, the heavens path shook violently and became much quieter. The 17 totem ancient gods were like a curse that weighed down on the hearts of the experts who came to the heavens path. Even the 10 Wills God Kings who usually ruled over a star field or several star fields felt their momentum weakened when they led their subordinates to the heavens path. TSK, 17 totem ancient gods killed a 10 Wills God King. This Lu Yiping, I'm afraid only 11 Wills God Kings can fight him, right? However, the tallest tree in the forest will be destroyed by the wind. Now, many 10 Wills God Kings see Lu Yiping as a thorn in their side. I've heard that many 10 Wills God Kings and 11 Wills God Kings have the intention of joining forces to kill Lu Yiping. Now that the primal chaos heavens will has appeared, I wonder who will get their hands on it. The experts from various forces discussed fervently. In a certain residence in the Ghost City, Lu Yiping also heard the discussions about him in the outside world. However, he didn't take it to heart. My lord, the Massacre God Pavilion's envoy is outside and he requests to see you. Che Ziping came in and reported to Lu Yiping. The Massacre God Pavilion, like the Heavenly Palace, was one of the 3 strongest forces in the Heaven's Path. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.